Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another Market Open. It is Friday, February 23rd, 8:45 a.m., and we are in a new age of generative AI and accelerated computing. And the reason we're in a new age of generative AI and accelerated computing is because this guy keeps telling me we're in a new age of generative AI and accelerated computing. So I decided to just look like this guy and start becoming someone who preaches about generative AI and accelerated computing, whatever it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Nvidia, $802 in the pre-markets, up 2.18% on the day. It was up 16% yesterday. It's up another 2% today. It's basically going to be up 20% likely when the market opens and we get here to $805, $806, market cap of $2 trillion on Nvidia. I mean, what else could we do? What else could we do other than wear the generative AI and accelerated computing, cavooting, whatever you call it, type of jacket other than this right now to celebrate Nvidia? And I'm saying this as someone who doesn't have any Nvidia. And it's at one point it's just like, well, do I get some Nvidia? It's like, I don't know. The market's kind of interesting right now when it comes to Nvidia. We've got a lot to talk about on them. We've got earnings from Warner Brothers Discovery. We'll be talking about that. We've got the broader market on this Friday that is up, and I don't know if it's going to last being up, but as of yesterday, we decided to really go past levels we haven't seen before. S&P 500 is at $507. $508 in the pre-market. SMCI is down a little bit, but SPY up 2% since yesterday. Kind of doesn't make any sense, but we're here. And I think the market has basically decided that this is a new era we are entering into. Maybe we have a little bit of a pullback. We'll talk about the justifications for why we get a pullback, but maybe this thing keeps going. And if this thing keeps going, it is going to be one hell of a market this year. Thank you, everybody, for being here with me on the Market Open. Jacquees, Tesla, Justin, Jube, Kaiser, Tanks Dead, Sasky Rose. We got some stuff to talk about at Robinhood as well. We got a lot of stuff to talk about that for them. Johnny Boy, Gift Magic, Adam, Alex, Ian, Sonny, Jared, Monty, Mario, Missy, looking good, Amit. All right, I'm happy you guys like the jacket. Heavy D, Ty Kuzo, Chris, Lewis, Ian, Richard. Thank you all for being here. Billy Bag Donut says, Amit, I don't know what that jacket on. It kind of looks like you're better than everybody. Oh, man. Mark, what's up? Jube. What else do we have here? Taizuko, yo, Amit, yo, what's up? Lewis says the jacket actually looks good. Okay, there we go. So we got the jacket in the house, folks. We got the leather jacket all the way from Amazon.com, $47. Here we go. Justin says Amit gets hood right and is like, what kind of Jensen Huang I am. Oh boy, Amit's heading to his motorcycle club after this. All right, so while I'm pulling up the news for the day, put your best caption of me wearing this jacket in the chat. What would you guys say is the best caption of me wearing this jacket? Wow, these comments are ridiculous. You have a whip as well. You guys are crazy. I love it. I haven't even posted the Twitter picture yet. I got to post the Twitter picture and just let everyone roast me there. All right. So I want to start off by saying this when it comes to Nvidia. I think we'll start off with this and then we'll go from here. I had a realization last night for why the market ticked up yesterday because of Nvidia. So, yesterday we were basically saying it's kind of insane that Shopify's up. It's insane that Elf is up. It's insane that a lot of these companies are up, even though primarily they're not, AI plays or anything like that. So why are these companies up? Well, it seems like what I think the market has decided is that if Nvidia is going to increase productivity, or if Nvidia is having massive amounts of demand, and that massive amount of demand is going to increase productivity as a byproduct of demand, which is the whole reason enterprises are even embracing AI, then that's going to lift up the entire market. And I know this is a very simple realization, but I kind of came to that syllogism last night as I was looking at a bunch of different earnings that were coming out. Square, we got to talk about them. They had a great earnings report. I think they're up 13% right now. If AI demand is massive and every enterprise is trying to scale into AI demand, the byproduct of AI for an enterprise is increased productivity, which means increased margins, increased revenue, decreased costs. If that's the case, earnings across the board, whether you're a company that's worth, $5 million or a company worth $5 billion, or you're a small little company, a mom and pop shop that's, opening up your local pizza shop and you need to do advertising and you need to use Meta, and Meta's using NVIDIA's AI to be able to give you the best recommendation for your pizza shop advertising so that you can make a return on your ad spend going into Meta. Meta's earnings gets better, your ad spend gets better, your pizza shop gets better, and then NVIDIA benefits from all of that because they're the ones supplying the GPUs in order to fuel the advertising for Meta, which fuels the advertising for the pizza shop. It is a logical syllogism that goes down every sort of sequential link chain you can think of in regards to business, media and entertainment, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, supply chains, logistics, all of that stuff. And you come to this conclusion that's, wait a second, this is why the S&P is up 7% year to date. This is why the market is up. This is why it seems like the market has decided that this is what we're going to do in regards to NVIDIA going up. We're going to take the entire market up, because why wouldn't the entire market go up if everything is going to get more productive? And as a result of that, as Sakon parades says NVIDIA to 1,000, which I think, 1,250 is the new price target on the street. That seems to be consensus. It is possible. I don't know if it happens tomorrow. I think we maybe have a little bit of some bumps in the way before we get there, but I don't think that train is necessarily stopping. And the reason I think a lot of people thought the train could stop before this earnings is because everyone was like, there's no way they're going to put up monster numbers that were even better than last year. And they put up monster numbers that were phenomenally better than last year. And on the earnings call, which we all listen to on the channel, Jensen Huang says that's not stopping. Like, it's going to keep going. And so I think that's why the market is up right now. Now, is there some froth in the market? Yes. Why is there froth? AMD should not be up 10% right now. I'll just publicly say AMD should not be up. Now it's 11%. AMD should not be up 11% in the past 24 hours. Why? Their guidance was horrible. They are not growing like Nvidia. They're still going to be a big company long term, but this is a company that the valuation is definitely not as attractive as Nvidia in terms of the PE and the PEG ratio. But Nvidia going up means the market thinks, okay, so AMD is just naturally going to go up. I don't think that's the case. Nvidia can say there's a lot of demand for Nvidia. That doesn't mean AMD has to go up as a result of that. So them being up 10% is really shocking, because on their own earnings, they could barely go up 1%. In fact, they lost 3% for a couple of days until they recovered. So, I mean, I don't know. Yes, this is a market that does make sense from a fundamental level in terms of what the large scale productivity gains are going to mean for revenue, operating margins, operating income, and decreasal of cost for the long term. But is it a market that is truly sustainable given the run up that we've already had? Nvidia at this point now is officially up. Let me bring up Robinhood so you guys can see this. 62% year to date. I mean, it is, and that's probably going up today. I mean, I think that can get closer to 70% if things keep going. 63% year to date, Nvidia's up. I mean, you just don't get year to date returns like that in a company, in one stock within 5 weeks of trading. So this is what we got on Nvidia. It's up 63%. And, I think we're going to have some unique economic and macro data coming out over the next coming weeks. And either Nvidia is going to hold and be on its own island while the market tanks, or the market's going to keep going up with Nvidia. I think one of the two is going to happen. The odd chance is Nvidia takes a crash, which after this earnings, I just don't know if that's happening, dude. They might get a little bit of pullback, but I don't know if we get this sort of epic crash that the shorts have been waiting for on Nvidia. All the arguments that, they're supply constrained, or that their demand's being pulled forward and eventually they'll lose their inventory purchases, like those are concerns, but maybe they're concerns years from now, not concerns in the short term. And the market, quite frankly, said that they do not care in the short term. TJ, what's up? Me and TJ are going to be doing our podcast today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 11 a.m. Pacific. We're going to be doing our options episode 4. TJ is going to talk through all the different changes he's made in his portfolio. We're going to talk about theta, the Greeks, all that good stuff. So it'll be a good episode today at 2 p.m. for options. Johnny Max says, admit you can't be dressing this smooth. My wife watches me. So if you guys just tuned in, we had to pull up the $47 Amazon leather jacket, okay, which actually looks better than $47. Like, could you wear this on a date? I would wear this on a date. I would wear this on a date, dude. I don't think she would notice. It's okay. It looks kind of fake when you look at it. Definitely, now I'm looking at it in person. This looks like it said it was FAUX faux leather. It definitely looks faux leather. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if someone touched it, they would be like, "What is this Chinese nonsense?" But on the surface, it looks like generative AI and accelerated computing. Dude, imagine you went on a date with a girl and you were wearing this and you sat down and you had like 500 shares of Nvidia, average like 250. And you sit down and she's like, so tell me about yourself. And you're just like, generative AI and accelerated computing. and you just don't say anything else. And she's just like, what? And you're like, generative AI and accelerated computing. And she was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Then you take out your Robinhood, be like, and you show her your Nvidia gains, like generative AI and accelerated computing. That would just be like, I don't know, maybe she would be turned on by that. First of all, the gains would be a turn on. Second of all, she would have to learn about generative AI and accelerated computing, and the leather jacket might make her interested. I don't know. Maybe that's the strategy. Maybe that's what we got to do. Amit, stop. My mom watches with me. Okay, so we talked about Nvidia. The market loves Nvidia. Nvidia's up, and Nvidia's not stopping. And we'll see over the next few weeks, if Nvidia takes a little bit of a break. Danger says take off the Amazon Basics tag. Okay, it doesn't have an Amazon Basics tag, so you guys don't have to be that mean. All right, you don't have to be that mean. All right, it doesn't have Amazon Basics. If it did, I would be dying, dude. If this shit said Amazon Basics on your leather jacket, like that'd be wild. But now, naturally, that's who I am, dude. I would never buy like a $10,000 leather jacket. I would buy like a $100 leather jacket because, I mean, like there's not really that much of a difference, Like I don't think I could fathom spending that much on a jacket. But $100, even $100 is a little expensive. 47 is not too bad. Okay, let's talk about Robinhood. We got some things on Robinhood, then we'll talk about Palantir, and then we'll talk about some macro data. Also, we got to talk about Reddit. They want to go public. We got to talk about what they're doing as well. Chino Creation says Amit got that accelerated computing riz. That's hilarious, dude. I love it. All right, so apparently Robinhood released this February 15th, but I'm seeing it today. No one wanted to tell me. Dude, like literally these charts are the first time I'm seeing it on Twitter. And it's been 10 days since they released these and no one told me. Like I somehow found it today, but like these results are out and these are their January metrics. So take a look at this. 120,000 new users month over month. The rate of growth of that is pretty good. A couple quarters ago, they were growing at 20,000 users month over month. If they keep that up, they're going to get close to a couple million by the end of this year, just in users, which are net cumulative funded accounts, which is how Robinhood defines them, which is going to be pretty exciting. So that is awesome. Net deposits, look at that, $3.8 billion, 44% year over year growth. They went from $1.4 billion in November, $2.2 billion in December, $3.8 billion in January. And I think they said they already did half of that in February. So if that, is that 3.8 to 4 billion in February, you're looking at a close to 12 billion quarter in deposits run rate. Whereas for the past year, you could barely get 3 to 4 billion per quarter, which is phenomenal. Assets under custody, that's down just a little bit, 102.4 to 106. That's fine. And then cash sweep, it's up 16.8. That's up 137% year over year. Then you've got equity volumes. That's down a little bit, 63.2 to 59.3 in January. Options contract is up 104.5 to 106 million contracts traded. Margin book is up 20%. And then crypto volumes, that's down month over month, but year over year, it's up 59%. And that's because we saw a little dip in crypto in January. We saw Bitcoin at 38,000, but we went from 2.3 billion to 4 billion to 6.5 billion to $5.9 billion of crypto traded January 2024, which brought in probably, $10-20 million of revenue for Robinhood. Robinhood is still at $12 billion market cap, and the cash on hand is $6 billion. So, I mean, more and more, Robinhood is looking attractive right now, $14.03 in the pre-markets. I think that Robinhood will have a little bit of a pullback with the broader crypto companies as Bitcoin potentially takes a little bit of a pullback. I think that's inevitable. That could happen. But if we maintain 13.5, I think that's really all that matters until we make the next leg up. And the next leg up to me is around 17. It's going to take a while for that to happen. But if we can just maintain that 13.5 level, even with a pullback, I think that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Crypto companies right now, Bitcoin is down 51,055. Obviously, 52.53 has a lot of selling pressure, which is why it keeps hitting resistance. Ethereum 2,942. CleanSpark down about 1.81% of the pre-markets. Coinbase also 167 down 1.91%. And then you got all the other miners that are down a little bit in the pre-markets. Robinhood is up in the pre-markets while the miners are down, even though crypto is down. Again, that speaks to a little bit of Robinhood being differentiated just from the crypto stocks, even though crypto is that catalyst to get Robinhood to keep going. Magnificent Seven, Tesla's down a little bit. We'll talk about Tesla in a second. Amazon is down a little bit. Google is down a little bit. Google has had one hell of a week. Nvidia's up 2%. Meta's up about 1%. Microsoft now at 414. It was at 398 2 days ago. And Microsoft fell just because the market thought Nvidia was going to fall. And that's why everyone fell. Nvidia came up. Everyone came up. Apple now at 184. Apple was at 180 before Nvidia earnings as well. So that's what we got already in the broader ecosystem. for some of these Max 7 and crypto stocks. Chris in the chat says the company you should look at a bit is Palo Alto Network. So I've been looking at this one after earnings. I know Chris has been doing DD on this as well, but after earnings, they fell 30%. They're up 1.75% of the day. They were up 2% yesterday. So basically they fell about 27%. And look, it's interesting. Cybersecurity itself is a very interesting sector. I don't know anything about the financials. I haven't done that level of DD yet. $86 billion market cap. I think they're doing $5 billion in revenue, and they're growing at 19% year over year. There wasn't really anything wrong with the earnings. They were just priced to perfection, and the street was like, all right, these numbers aren't phenomenal. You really need to hit it out of the, you needed Nvidia numbers to justify your valuation, and you didn't put those up. So that's why they tanked them. But maybe that's not enough of a reason for it to continue staying down. Are they losing to CrowdStrike? So this, I don't know. Now, CrowdStrike is the gold standard when it comes to cybersecurity. CrowdStrike is trading at a richer premium than Palo Alto Networks. So I honestly have not done the due diligence to compare both of them together. But they're both in the cybersecurity space. If you want the obvious winner, I'm sure it's CrowdStrike. But if you want something that discounted, that's maybe not as good, but still decent, Palo Alto would be there. And Palo Alto's been there for a while, dude. I mean, this is a company, I think that's almost 15 years old. So it's not like they're new to these cybersecurity plays. Fortinet is another one that Steve and I did an episode a while ago. This one, again, is cheaper from a market cap perspective. They're a big player in the cybersecurity space. They fell to 44 back in November. They rebounded to like the 75s, but then they fell after Palo Alto took a little bit of a beating as well. Okay, let's talk about Reddit. So this was the most interesting thing I realized today about Reddit. Reddit is going public, which is going to be super, super exciting. I probably will not be participating in the IPO. This is one of those companies that I'm not a fan of. Reddit is fine, but I think the communities on Reddit can particularly get kind of toxic, and it's just not something that I would want to invest in, or something that I honestly see as any real potential return outside of some meme stock mania. User growth was really bad. I'm going to go through a thread in a second showing you guys what their financials look like. They're trying to raise at $5 billion. So I think we did get clarification as I looked through their S1 last night about what the valuation is. $5 billion is what they're looking for. And I mean, that's not a crazy valuation. Their revenues are $890 million. They're losing $90 million, but their user growth is abhorrent. I mean, Facebook had 430 million active users in 2012 when they IPO'd. And Reddit has 73 million, and it's been 10 years since Facebook. And it's an internet company at the end of the day. Yes, it's not Facebook, but like the idea that Facebook is at now 4 billion and Reddit's stuck under 100 million. It's very weird, right? Like you wouldn't expect a company like Reddit to have such little users. Here's the big thing that hurt Reddit. So Wall Street Bets is the subreddit that, really took a lot of the stocks to the moon, like GameStop and AMC and things like that. And, Reddit said Wall Street Bets is a risk to investing in their stock. Wall Street Bets got a hold of this yesterday, and they were going to go long on the company. That was the conventional wisdom, is like, hey, like, let's go long, let's pump it up. Like, everyone thinks that Reddit's a meme stock or Reddit's a meme company. Let's like fulfill the prophecy. But now they're thinking of shorting Reddit because Reddit dissed Wall Street Bets. So if you see right here, reading from this, let me pull this up right here. They said, given the brand awareness and recognition of Reddit, including a results of popularity of Wall Street Bets, retail investors, and the direct access by retail investors to broadly available trading platforms, the market price and trading volume of our Class A common stock could experience extreme volatility for reasons unrelating to our underlying business or macroeconomic industry fundamentals, which could cause you to lose all or part of your investment. So look, to give Reddit credit, I mean, this is a risk you probably have to say, right? You have to like put it out there. Like you can't ignore that if you're the lawyers. But if you're on Wall Street Bets and you're a dedicated Reddit user and you just heard Reddit basically say, hey, this subreddit could pump our stock or dump our stock, or they could do something to make it incredibly volatile. So if you invest in the company, you have to be afraid of this subreddit, this like gang that's on the internet that might do something. You're probably going to be pissed off. I mean, you're not going to be necessarily happy about this. And as a result of that, now they're basically saying, why don't we just short the crap out of this thing? Because if they don't respect us enough, which quite frankly, Reddit does not respect their users. I mean, they've never paid their users. They never really cared about their users. They dismantled the API training last year. So people really don't like Reddit. And this just gives them another reason to not like Reddit. Here we go. Let's get some more coverage on that, and then we'll keep going from there.
Out to take the IPO plunge, the company planning to list on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker RDDT, and is expected to start trading next month. Joining us right now with more on all of it, Alex Kentrowitz, big technology founder and a CNBC contributor. And I know so many people, 4 o'clock, 4:30 came around yesterday, and everybody's sort of, trying to go through all of that S1. What was the biggest highlight for you
It just wasn't very impressive. I mean, this company's been around for 19 years. It has 72 million daily active users, right? That's 410 million less than Facebook had when it went public. And that was in 2012, 2013 when they filed. So you look at Reddit, you say they don't have the user growth, they're losing money, and you start to say, where does this company actually, have a chance in the eyes of investors? Maybe it's AI, but I don't think it's the traditional social network path, which is user growth and advertising.
Well, in terms of AI, I thought one of the other things that was fascinating that happened yesterday was they're announcing this plan to have a bigger partnership with Google, which effectively means we are going to start selling more of our data to train on, I believe, for AI purposes, for Google's purposes. So they're taking your information and selling it. How do you feel about that?
Look, trust me, if I'm Reddit, I'm going to Wall Street, and then that's the pitch completely. I mean, the deal is for around $203 million. That's about 8% incremental revenue for Reddit last year, and they had 20% revenue growth. So you think about the ways that they can make money. Advertising, very difficult on Reddit because it's bespoke. You have a company like Weight Watchers. I was looking at the front page today. They have to speak in Reddit lingo and use Reddit phrases and put it in the Reddit format. It's a pain for such a small network. Most advertisers don't want to do that. But we're entering in this era where the data to train AI models is super important. Make it current, make it useful. If Reddit can do a $203 million deal with just Google,
right,
then there's a chance that they can do other deals with other companies. And then you go to Wall Street.
So, I mean, the big thing here, again, is that Reddit does not have an advertising part of its moat that's growing massively. And then if you're going to license user data, it's like, all right, you can license user data, but is that really the model that's going to produce massive amounts of revenue? 100,000 communities, 73 million users, 267 million average weekly uniques, and then 1 billion cumulative posts. So again, about 5 billion when it comes to their valuation. User growth numbers were weird. Here's one thing I noticed last night that made no sense to me. They count logged out users as users, which I don't even know how you do that. I've never seen a social media company count someone who's logged out as a user because they're not logged in. They're like, maybe they're using it, but you don't even know they're using it. You're just counting website traffic at that point as users, but that's not users. That's website traffic. Like going to Twitter is much different than signing up to Twitter. And it seems like Reddit's counting that as user growth, which is ridiculous in my opinion, which just goes to show how horrible the service has been in terms of attracting a mass population. They've got users, but it's not like massive tech companies or a massive tech company like Twitter or YouTube in terms of the amount of people that they're bringing to the platform. They raised the CEO salary from 200 to 450 in June, and then someone else's from 562 to 600. I don't know why they did that, but they're paying them more money for some reason. They should get compensated pretty well in stock, but they're getting paid more. And then, very few companies are really using their advertising. Here's this vegan brand that decided to use all their advertising spend on Reddit. I mean, that's great for the vegan brand, but I think it's an anomaly that a lot of people are going to end up using Reddit for when it comes to advertising. So from that perspective, it's a little tough to imagine this is the most attractive IPO in the world. In general, I have a philosophy of just not buying companies when they go public. I did that with ARM. I did that with Instacart. And now for ARM, obviously ARM is pumped. So you could say, oh, well, if you bought it at 51, it would have done great. It's like, yeah, maybe, but you didn't know that pump was going to happen. And then with Instacart, where's Instacart right now? Instacart's at 31. Instacart's basically at where they were when they went public, and they fell to 22 basically after they went public for a good 3 months. And now they're back up to 31. And that's really because the market has pumped up really well in the past few months. So to me, I just never buy when they go public. It's just kind of scary. You don't know what happens. You give it a couple months and then you get to see if there's really a thesis there when it comes to buying. Sachin says it will be massaged a lot to pump the valuation. Yeah, I would imagine. He says, I will prefer puts on Reddit as soon as IPO pump ends for the date 6 to 7 months in the future. I could really see this company becoming a classic meme stock company, and a company that could completely interact with the nature of the company. Guys, I'm sorry. I just got a DM. That's why I started stuttering. And this is a really cool DM. I cannot say what this DM is. That's why I just lost my train of thought. I clicked on this. Dude, this is a cool DM. Okay, I can't say what it is. I'm sorry to tease, but I had to explain why I was stuttering. This is really cool. This is really cool. Let's just say something cool is going to happen on the channel. Let's just say something really cool is going to... Amit's pulling a carp. Yo, literally, Amit was pulling a carp. This is why you wear the jacket. Because when you wear a jacket like this, you get DMs like the one I'm looking at on my iPad right now. I'm really sorry. I don't want to tease. I hate when people do that. I cannot say what this DM is, but this is a fucking cool DM, bro. This is a really cool DM. This is dope. This is dope. This is just a good DM. That's all I'm gonna say. This is it. Germany just federally legalized weed. What? Okay, let's look that up. Legalize weed. Did that actually happen? Oh, wow. Yeah, it looks like they're set to legalize weed. There we go. There we go. Give context around it. Let's just say someone might be coming on the channel soon. Let's just say that. Let's just say someone might be coming on the channel soon. That's all. Germany set to legalize cannabis, but it's complicated. Weed stock should be up today. MSOS. Is it the DM on a Bitcoin to AIP Con 3? No, it's not about AIP. It's not about AIP Con. AIP Con would be cool to go through, but it's not about AIP Con. MSOS is the ticker for weed stocks. Yeah, I thought that would be up more. That's not up as much because it's in Germany and maybe not in the United States. Okay, yeah. So yeah, this is a cool DM and yeah, this would be super dope. This is gonna be super fun. No, it's not today. This is probably gonna take a little bit of scheduling to get this job done, but we're gonna have someone on the channel, folks. We're gonna have someone on the channel. It'll be pretty cool. It'll be pretty cool. All right, let's get back to the market. So we talked about Reddit. Let's move on to this. We discussed Reddit. We discussed Nvidia. I think we need to discuss Palantir just a little bit, even though nothing too crazy is going on in the world of Palantir. It's not Carp. It's not Carp. It's not Carp. If it was Carp, I would just say if it was Carp. It's not Carp. Carp's a harder guy to get to, in my opinion. He's a busy guy. He's like traveling all across the world and shit. Palantir. Okay, so let's talk about Palantir. Now, Palantir yesterday was up 3.74%. And the reason why Palantir was up 3.474% is because of the Nvidia pump. The question I have now for Palantir is, can they maintain their Nvidia gains, which is hilarious to say. They're down about 0.21% in the pre-markets right now, 23.59, up 3.74% on the day. Nvidia right here, 802, up 2.21%. One of the things that's really interesting about Palantir right now is that, yes, insiders have been selling stock, and over the past couple of days, insiders sold, I think, another 300,000 shares. But the market has really consumed that, and they've eaten up their shares, and they haven't really cared that insiders have been selling. And so that's one interesting thing. You would think that with them dumping as many shares as they have, that it would have been a little tougher for the stock, but it's not really been that tough. There's been enough appetite to eat up that demand, whether it's from institutional or it's from retail, and people have decided to, start taking Palantir a lot more seriously as they end up continuing to buy the stock. On top of that, you've got a new sort of a plea by Palantir. If we look at this right here on Twitter, they're basically calling out the U.S. government publicly. It's not Courtney, Tank's dad. I hate you. It's not Courtney. If you guys are here yesterday, I talked about my first grade girlfriend, Courtney, and how I'm trying to find her. And yeah, that definitely became a meme. But so you can see this right here. The woefully outdated U.S. government classification system is about to have its AI revolution. Learn how Palantir's AIP is the technology that can fix this decades old problem. Notice their wording here. The woefully outdated U.S. government. Those are like fighting words, dude. Those are words that like Elon would say about the government. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like they're just saying, hey, the government doesn't spend money. We need to change that. Look at their next post. This was posted yesterday. Total DoD spend on software is less than 1%. If we expect the U.S. military to maintain its competitive edge, this must change. They are literally calling out the military by name. America's ability to deter and defeat is not guaranteed. It is software defined. Total DoD spend on software is less than 1%, but it's America's asymmetric advantage. I mean, this is pretty incredible. Palantir basically saying, hey, if you guys want to be competitive, you need to spend money. And if you need to spend money, then you need to procure the right software. And so from that perspective, I think we're just going to see more and more of these Palantir callouts, and hopefully that leads to more and more government revenue when it comes to Palantir. I'm not telling you guys the guess, guys. I can't tell you who it is. I don't even know if it's confirmed. Everyone's like trying to figure it out in the chat. I can't say anything. I just got the DM. I haven't even accepted the DM yet. Like, I need to respond to these guys, so I can't say. And what if it doesn't happen? So like then I'm gonna say something and it's not gonna happen. But it's a really cool guess, dude. It's a really cool guess. It's a really cool guess. It's so crazy, dude. It's so crazy. I wonder if they're watching the stream. The person from their communications team who sent me this right now. I wonder if they're watching the stream. It's not Liz Young, even though, oh man, Liz Young. That would be great to have her on stream. That would be great to just talk to Liz Young. That would be awesome, especially if I'm wearing the leather jacket, dude. Get to talk to Liz Young. That wouldn't be too bad. I would enjoy that. I would enjoy that thoroughly. I would enjoy talking to her. Okay, let's hear about Ethereum and the potential. Actually, no. Let's listen to. Should we do Ethereum one? No, let's listen to this. Let's listen to. Actually, yeah, let's do Ethereum. Okay, let's do Ethereum. I was going to do Warner Brothers. We'll do Warner Brothers after Ethereum. So here's Ethereum on the potential of a spot ETF. Ethereum's been mooning over the past couple of days. Here's the argument for why Ethereum potentially could be the asset of 2024. Here we go.
Calling on the SEC to approve Grayscale's application to launch a spot Ethereum ETF in a letter to the SEC. Coinbase chief lawyer saying, quote, Ether's proof of stake has demonstrably strong governance that exhibits robust characteristics across ownership concentration, consensus, liquidity, and governance, mitigating risks of fraud and manipulation. Joining us right now is Grayscale CEO Michael Sonnenschein. It's not that often when one of your competitors says, hey, go help these folks.
Well, we do have an application on file. Grayscale sponsors ticker ETHE,
Right.
Grayscale Ethereum Trust, largest Ethereum fund in the world. An spot Ethereum ETF is a matter of when, not a matter of if. And
you say that because with such confidence.
I say that with confidence because my team has been doing the tough work to move this industry forward, work constructively with regulators, focus on disclosure, investor protections, and that's been true for Bitcoin. Proud of the work we did with GBTC, and now.
Do you think? Look, it took a lawsuit to get Gary Gensler to back down on this, right? I mean, and we just had Gary here recently, and you saw that interview. I'd love to get your reaction to it, but clearly, left to his own devices, this is not the outcome that he would have preferred.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, at least in between the lines, that's what I think he has said.
Well, he actually wrote a pretty strong dissenting letter
Right.
Around this and really focused on the Grayscale lawsuit the day that the approvals for spot Bitcoin ETFs came out.
And so, which then begs the question, on the Ethereum front, if that is to move forward in a meaningful way, does that require another suit?
It's too early to say. It's too early to say. I think we have a similar dynamic in the market where the SEC has allowed for and approved Ethereum futures ETFs to come to market. The data suggests in a very similar way to Bitcoin that spot Bitcoin and Bitcoin futures have an inextricable tie. The markets have a 99.9% correlation. Same is true around Ethereum. And so we do have a very similar dynamic here.
Give us just a little bit of a behind the scenes over the last month and a half since this has now happened. There have been outflows from your firm, a lot of inflows apparently to BlackRock and some of the others. I also now seeing your ads on subways and other places. How has the business even changed?
Well, I think it's about audience, right? I think that GBTC's uplisting, having come to the New York Stock Exchange, paved the way for all these other issuers to come to market as well, has really opened the opportunity for a much larger audience of investors to participate in this asset class for the first time. The products are functioning very, very well, tight spreads, closely tracking the underlying Bitcoin. So it's been a major success.
But strategically for you, is your goal to get more inflows or frankly just to prevent outflows, given that you were the leader in this space to begin with?
Well, I think it's actually the question we're actually getting mostly from investors now is where else should they be investing, right? A lot of investors were able to benefit from being in Bitcoin as early as they were because we were in Bitcoin as early as we were. And so they're looking across the rest of the Grayscale product family.
What's really interesting about Grayscale, so this is ETH, right? This is the ETF. This one has been on a tear. It's up 52% in the past 3 months. It's up 5% since yesterday. The reason it's up is obviously because Ethereum has been doing well. If Ethereum could be what Bitcoin was in terms of the spot ETFs, that just means a lot more inflow when it comes to the asset class, which is what happened to Bitcoin. And obviously Bitcoin did really well. So I don't know what the future is for the Ethereum spot ETF, but if I had to argue, I would say it's inevitable there will be some type of ETF. BlackRock, by the way, has already filed for an ETF to build something for Ethereum. Now, if that's the case, BlackRock tends to usually do what they need to do. And I would imagine that the SEC is going to take that seriously eventually, even if it takes months before officially approving it. Another piece of news we have from Bitcoin Magazine, ETF volumes have now officially topped 50 billion in trading. This is across all 12 ETFs, ARKB, IBIT, the Fidelity one, all of these guys. And so you've got a lot of these ETFs that are starting to have inflows because $50 billion worth of trading is happening on the platforms. And as a result of that, these ETFs have to buy more Bitcoin. You know, and outside of how you feel ideologically about Bitcoin, supply and demand comes into effect. If there's a lot of demand for people to trade this stuff and there's not enough Bitcoin in the ETFs have to buy more Bitcoin. And that's what gets Bitcoin to go higher. 2% right now in ARKB, IBIT as well, up 2%. Palantir down a little bit in the pre-markets. Again, if you can see everything's up. Robinhood's 1407, Palo Alto's up 2%, CrowdStrike's up 1%, Nvidia's up 2.46%, S&P is up 0.35% in the pre-markets. Look at this, guys. S&P's at 509.3. S&P is at 509.3. Every analyst thought the S&P would get to 510 by the end of the year, and it's 509. So, I mean, it is incredible to see the run that we've been on. And this is why being in the market is fun right now, because if you're in at least some part of the market, you are probably green. Okay, let's talk about Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers that just had earnings as well. I can't say the guest's name, guys. Everyone's asking. I cannot say it. That is unprofessional. I can't say. I can't confirm or deny whoever you guys think it is, but it is someone that's pretty big. That's all I'll say. It's not Courtney. Yeah, it would be awesome if it was Courtney. Dude, interviewing Courtney, that would be amazing. I'd be like, why'd you leave me in first grade, dude? She moved to Florida. She had a dog named Holly. Dude, like, I remember all this shit. Like, it's been 20 years. I remember all of this shit. Like, I don't know. I liked Courtney. So I would be like, why'd you leave me? That's what I would have said. It's not Jim Cramer. It's not. I interview Arnie every week. At Friday, I'll have Arnie on tonight. It's not Kelly. One day, Kelly will be on the live stream with me, probably in like April when she comes to New York. So we'll probably do a live stream in person. But it's not Elon. It's gonna be someone though. It's gonna be someone. Okay, Warner Brothers is down 8%. Why are they down? Total revenue $10.2 billion, decreased 7% year over year. That's not good. Net loss $400 million. Well, it's a loss. So that's not good. It looks like it's a tax thing. Adjusted EBITDA, $2.4 billion. Cash provided, $3.5 billion. Repaid $1.2 billion of debt. Ended the quarter with $4.3 billion on cash. Damn, $44 billion of gross debt. Holy crap. Oh my God, dude. Why does Warner Brothers have this much debt? They're down 9% right now. $23 billion market cap, $43 billion of debt. That is insane. 97.7 million subscribers. I think Warner Brothers owns HBO Max. That's the majority of those subscribers. Global ARPU was $7.94. That's up 7% year over year. TNT Sports continues to strengthen its global sports portfolio. 4-year extension. Adult Swim had the largest year-over-year primetime delivery growth in cable. Yeah, I don't know who's investing in WBD, dude. I mean, I don't know what the thesis is here, but $23 billion market cap, $43 billion debt. I know that's a naive way to just analyze the business, but that right there already doesn't look good. That's just like, what? That is insane. There's just way too many better opportunities that are out there when it comes to Warner Brothers. Time to short? No, it's already down 10%. Also, I mean, I don't know. I don't think this would be necessarily a good short candidate. There is a divvy here, right? Is there a divvy? There's not even a dividend. Who the hell is buying Warner Brothers, dude? There's not even a dividend. Wow. I don't even have HBO Max. So put in the chat if you have HBO Max. Does anyone have HBO Max? I don't have HBO Max. I think I tried to get it like years ago for like one show and then I canceled it because I just don't watch it enough. Honestly, I don't watch TV enough. Like YouTube I have, but the rest of it not. But yeah, HBO Max is their main driver, and it seems like that's not growing at the levels that they need to grow. Okay, let's get a little bit more of a bearish perspective. Here's Voya Invest Barbara Reinhard on why equities will bottom by mid-October. Let's see what she has to say. House of Dragons? No, I haven't seen that. I've never seen what's that thing called? What's that thing called? That big thing on HBO? Fuck, how am I forgetting? Oh, the Throne of Games? Or sorry. The Game of Thrones? Yeah, that thing. I've never seen that shit. All right, here we go.
Now joining us is Barbara Reinhard, Chief Investment Officer of Multi-Asset Strategies and Solutions at Voya Investment Management. I mean, let's get a little specific here.
You said it on pitch. That's exactly what our advertising
sounds like. And so it works. You're not just like going to tell us you're friendly towards stocks. You're going to tell us you like stocks. You're going to tell us how long you like stocks to the month.
Yeah.
Well,
Then she's going to tell us why they're going to sell off into after that and how much they're going to go down.
You're taking her steam.
Because I want you to write this down. You like stocks still where they are right now?
We do.
Till when?
We think that the Fed pivot that started just about 2 months ago with very favorable comments from the Fed and Jerome Powell continues. The breadth of the markets looks very good at this point. You've got more than 60% of stocks over their 200-day moving average. You don't see a lot of ebullience in the market as well. Yes, there are some surveys that look a little bit overbought when you look at 4-week ETF flows. You don't see very big kind of powerful moves coming into the market with cash coming off the sidelines. And then some of the risks have also dissipated, right? Just a month ago, the markets were pricing in 170 basis points of Fed cuts. They're only pricing in about 90 basis points at this point. So some of the risks that you had, which were kind of really getting some feverish in the markets, have kind of backed down a bit, which makes us much more optimistic.
Okay, but then what's this pivot point? When does it end?
So we've seen this. Well, we've seen this pattern.
I have a pen here and a calendar.
I'm not that good.
June. You got it. That's what you said. It's what you told our people. It ends in June.
So
because of the election.
This is what we've seen in previous election years. Okay. Not all election years, but we could see this setup happening again.
Then it goes down.
Okay, so this is interesting. They're saying by June, this market rally is going to stop, and it's going to be because of something to do with the election.
10%.
The market.
Why are you? Let her answer the question.
All right, go ahead.
Goodness.
Go ahead.
Everyone's had too much coffee today.
No, I don't. I can't have caffeine.
Really?
GERD.
This is like you?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you not know that?
I didn't.
Yeah, I require coffee. Continue on.
Like 5 cups, he does.
Okay, I don't need that many.
No, I don't do 5.
But I think the real issue.
Dude, sometimes Joe just has to let the guests speak, dude. Like just let them talk at the end of the day. Like I wish he would just let them talk.
Kept bringing them.
2 or 3.
Well, you do 3.
Okay, back on task. Back on task, everyone.
That's bad. When a guest has to say, let's get back on task, that is insane, dude. That's crazy.
June, down 10%.
No, so this is what happens. We saw this happen in 2000. We saw it happen in 2004. We saw it happen in 2016. A lot of times markets have a lot of good steam into the election, and right around the markets don't pay much attention to it right now. You haven't had Super Tuesday. Yes, we're paying attention to kind of who the front runners are, but it hasn't really come front and center to the market's psyche and the market's attention. That usually starts to happen right at the end of primary season, right around June, right? And then markets kind of start to wobble because they say, well, we're not sure who's going to be president. And generally during the summer months, you'll get some agita. You'll have some type of peak to trough decline in equities that gets everybody a little bit nervous. And then usually 3 to 4 weeks before the election is generally decided that there's going to be a winner. We will have a new U.S. president, and the market tends to find
So
its
are you supposed to play this for the next couple months?
Bottoms in mid-October.
Well, hang on.
And make sure that you're going to, right, and then make sure that you're out for the summer?
Look, don't forget, at Voya, we're investing for retirement money. My horizon is 40 years. I'm just telling you what we think is likely to happen because you've got a very big upcoming geopolitical event, which has tended to cause some weakness in equities. We, as long-term investors, would invest through it. But I would say that you're likely to have a little bit of indigestion because elections generally don't go unnoticed by the market. They do tend to cause a pullback, and they.
Okay, so her thesis is that the market's going to pull back because there's an election. And her argument is there's going to be enough instability in the broader equity markets, which will lead to it potentially being volatile. Now, the thing is, look, she could be right about that. We got the market open in about 2 minutes. She could be right about that. The problem is if the markets are at a broader level. So let's say, S&P's at what? 509 right now. Let's say S&P's at like 530, which is being very optimistic by June, but let's say that's the case. And then markets pull back. What if we just go back to 500 for that election instability? And then we get back to 530 by the end of the year. I mean, so the point is we could have a bottoming in October, but what if we rally to such a height that the bottoming is just where we were before we started the rally, which would still mean that it's a great year. I don't know. Or we fall back to 48.50 and then we come back to 510 by the end of the year. I mean, that's what I think a lot of people are thinking. I think Tom Lee's thinking, hey, we top at 510, go down to 4,800, spend a little time there, then we come back to 510 by the end of the year. Or maybe we just make really, really new highs. We fall back, but the fallback is still pretty damn good because we went higher. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting over the next few weeks. Someone said the guest is Steve. I hate you guys so much. I hate you guys so much. Could you imagine if I hype up an interview and it's Steve? And you guys would just be so annoyed. All right, 9:30 a.m. Friday, February 23rd. Thank you, everybody, for being with me. It is Friday. I'm wearing the leather jacket. 2 words that matter: accelerated computing and generative AI. Those are not 2 words, but you get the point. The market is now open. Wake your ass up. Here we go. 509 on the S&P, 805 on Nvidia. Robinhood, 1404. SMCI uniquely is down 4%. I didn't think it would take a tumble, but Nvidia and SMCI have gone their own paths. Nvidia is going to the moon. SMCI is like staying at the bus stop. They're not leaving yet. So SMCI right now, $938. Now they are up from $692, so they have recovered really well, but they're not moving too high today. Robinhood, 1402. Palo Alto Networks up 275. Super Micro Computers, 940. SPY, 509. What else do we got? TQQQ up another 1%. Wow. That's incredible. This is up like 10% over the past couple of days. Coinbase is down 2%. Wow. This is so interesting. Robinhood's up and Coinbase is down. That usually doesn't happen. And then if I think I go to the crypto stocks, I think they're going to be down today. Yeah, all of them are down. Look at this. The one green out of all crypto is Robinhood. CleanSpark's down. Coinbase is down. Riot's down. Marathon, Hut 8 Mining, Iron, Cypher, MicroStrategy, Bitfarms, all of them down about 3 to 4%. Robinhood is up. Now, the reason I think it's up is because some of those metrics came out about January's, and that was really exciting for the market. And so that's why Robinhood is up. And we'll talk about a couple other things, but let's look at some of these other stocks that we have right now. Let's look at semis. Where's semis? Semis are all green. Taiwan is up 1%. Marvell is up about 1%. ARM is up another percent. Broadcom up 0.42. ASML up 0.13. SMCI down 3. AMD up another percent. And Nvidia 807, 2.0 trillion on the market cap for Nvidia. Let's go to Square. Square had earnings yesterday. Oh, wow. Congrats to shareholders on Square. 20% up. Look at that. Look at that for Square. Square is up 20%. I listened to their earnings call yesterday. Look, they had a pretty damn good earnings call. I mean, you got to be objective here. I've never been the biggest fan of this stock, but Jack Dorsey killed it on the call. He answered every question they needed to answer. They put up really good numbers. They increased their gross profit expectations by about like 400 million bucks, which is really good. I mean, the street did not expect them to do that well. So Square did amazing. There you go. Square's up $80 right now. Palantir 2360. That's basically flat for the day. Instacart 30.85. That's up 3% from the IPO. ARM 129. Fortinet up about 0.52. And then Robinhood breaking out a little bit at 1407. Now we got to see if Robinhood can get to that 1430 range, which was the top for Robinhood. Where's PayPal? Is PayPal moving at all? Is PayPal moving? Wow, PayPal's up 1.57. PayPal's actually up. PayPal somehow is up today. Wow. Did not expect that one. Did not expect PayPal to be up. PayPal's up a little bit. 1.4 is not everything, but it's something. We're getting something. There, look at Robinhood. 14.15. There we go. A little bit of a breakout there on Robinhood. There we go. FinTech is all up. Where's SoFi? SoFi's probably up today as well. Yep. SoFi, there you go. 828. They're up as well. They are up as well. Nvidia's up 26. Yeah, Nvidia's up basically $126 since it's up $26 today, 120 yesterday. Wow, 812. It's breaking out. It's breaking out like a 14-year-old with pimples. Look at that. 813 on Nvidia. 3.61% up there right now on Nvidia. Palantir's moving as well. Where's Palantir? Wow, here we go. Whole market's moving. Whole market's moving. 23.92 on Palantir. 23.92 on Palantir. We haven't seen 24 in a little bit. It's been a while since we got to 24. 23.92. Am I going to have to do one share again? Am I going to have to give it a little nudgy nudge? I might have to give it a little nudgy nudge. I think I might have to. I'm going to pull it up. If I see 23.5, we're going to buy one share. Oh, I see 23.6. I see 23.7. All right, we got to do it. Here we go. And let's see. Order received. 23.95 we got on Palantir. 23.99. There we go. $24 on Palantir. We are back to 24. It's been so long. It's been like 3 days, but we are back. We missed you, 24. We were there chilling at 22. We were waiting for you to come back. There you go, 2404 on Palantir. This is how we move the market, folks. Oh my God, Nvidia 820. Oh my God. It's up $35, dude. What the heck? Robinhood's at 1430? Holy shit. SMCI, it was down 4%. It said, you know what, dude, this market is on, you're watching literal fire. You are watching literal fire right now in this market. It's just zooming up, dude. It is not stopping. Oh my God, dude. Robinhood 1430. PayPal now is up 1.47%. SoFi is 830. That's up 1.76. I mean, this market's going up. Let's go to the semis. The semis must be moving like crazy. Yeah, the semis are up. All of them are up. The only one that's down is On Semiconductor. Wow. Carvana. Where's Carvana? Where's Carvana? It was up 20% yesterday. Oh, Carvana's up 38%. Okay, so for those that want to know about Carvana, Carvana is a car rental company for used cars, or not even rental. They sell you used cars. They put up $150 million in profit. The street didn't expect that, but more importantly, they have a 35% short float. And so anything they did that was really good, boom, you've got 35% short. That's, going to probably be squeezed a little bit from what's happening. Nvidia's up at $820. Nvidia is just not stopping. Palantir 23.93, so it's taking a little bit of a break. And then Square 82, that's up 21%. PayPal 59.27. SoFi 830. AMD 183. Meet Kevin's PP, that's up 0.35% today. SMH, that's up another 2%. Again, we talked about this ETF yesterday. That gives you broad-based exposure to the semiconductor market. That's up 24% year to date. And it's an ETF. You barely took any risk buying that thing. Like, you're not betting on Nvidia, you're not betting on AMD, you're betting on a broad-based ETF that's compiling those companies together. It's just concentrated in semis, and your risk is less exposed, and that's up 24% for the year. Enphase is down, SolarEdge is down, TFC is down, so banks are taking a beating today. Where's banks? Financials are... Where's financials? Financials are banks... Yeah, banks are pretty much down. I mean, banks are kind of up today. A little. SoFi's up a little bit. Bank of America is barely up. Nubank is down. They had a really good earnings, but they're down. JP Morgan's up a little bit. The main story is AI and semis. Let's go to SaaS. SaaS right now is all green. Intuit's down. Twilio's down. Everything else is green. CrowdStrike's up. Net is up. ServiceNow is up. Adobe's up. MongoDB is up. Salesforce is up. Oracle is up. Wow. Robinhood 1439. Hold up. Did we get there? Oh my God. There we go. That's called a little bit of a breakout. 1435 on Robinhood. Oh, that's incredible, dude. That is absolutely incredible. That is fun stuff. That is fun stuff on Robinhood. That is cool, dude. 1432 right now on Robinhood. Now let's see. Let me go to the book volume real quick and just see what their sell side pressure is. Where's the wall? I think at $15, there's a pretty big wall. At 15, there's... Wow, that's not even that big of a wall. There's only 68,000 shares at 15. I thought there was like 100,000 shares a couple weeks ago. That's actually a wall that's reduced. That's reduced a bit. There was 157,000 shares at 15. Now it's 68,000. Rocket Companies, that is up 10%. They had a great earnings. They're a mortgage company. They did great. Carvana's up 42%. The shorts are getting squeezed on Carvana. There's no other explanation for it. The shorts are getting absolutely demolished on Carvana. Yeah, this is a leather jacket, guys. This is now I can't wear it every day because we can't abuse the privileges of the leather jacket. But this is what happens when you embrace accelerated computing and generative AI and you wear the leather jacket. I knew this leather jacket. I spent $50 on this leather jacket so you guys could have gains in the market. Okay, so that's why we did it. S&P at 509. Oh my God, dude. This is just incredible. This is absolutely incredible. Robinhood 1430, Rocket Companies 1216. Where's Palantir? Okay, Palantir's got sold off. Damn, that 24 wall must have been fucking tough for Palantir. That must have been tough. Jimmy Walter says, I switched my Tesla shares for Nvidia. Is that a good decision? Short term, long term? You know, a lot of people I've been seeing on Twitter have been doing this. They just sell Tesla, they buy Nvidia. I just feel like it's chasing a little bit at this point. Like if you had a thesis on Tesla, there's no way that thesis can go away because Nvidia is running. In fact, the bot itself on Tesla, to me, the bot is going to make Tesla trillions of dollars. I'll say that right now. And over the coming weeks, I've been doing a lot of due diligence on humanoid robots. You guys will learn more about my perspectives on those. But the more due diligence I do, the more I think Tesla's going to win the bot race, or they're going to be one of the big winners. And that in and of itself is a thesis. So to sell that for Nvidia, I mean, short term, maybe that makes sense. But long term, I don't know. Especially if demand for some of these chips are a little bit more cyclical than we think it is. Robinhood right now, 1433. But like you can't go wrong with either, I would argue, you know? So that's why you got Nvidia and Tesla, you know, doing well over the long term. Now, Tesla right now today is down 1%. Nvidia's up. Here's another thing that Vlad tweeted last night that's important to understand about Robinhood. This is, guys, this is probably the reason, quite frankly, why Robinhood's running. I mean, people probably take this really seriously, even though crypto's down. This is what Vlad tweeted. Robinhood 24-hour market is breaking trading volume records this week. Look at that. That's their internal stats. Look at that green bar. It's like a stock. It's like Nvidia's candle going up over the past 2 days. That's the amount of people that are trading on the 24-hour market. Now, why is the 24-hour market important for Robinhood? A, they get more payment for order flow because more people are trading. B, they get more, options and equities and crypto, right? But crypto is always 24 hours, but options and equities. And then the other thing that's important is, let's say you want to buy Nvidia at $7.95 before it runs to $8.30. Where can you buy it? On Robinhood, you can. Last night, it was at $7.95, and you could have bought it on Robinhood. And today, you would have Nvidia shares at what? At $8.16. Or you could have sold your Nvidia last night at $7.95 because you might be afraid that Nvidia is going to tank to $7.50. The point is, most brokerages, for some reason, don't allow you to trade for 24 hours. Robinhood works with an integrated network of partners that allows that to happen. And then boom, there you go. So that's another big reason for why maybe that attracts more users and gets more people excited and just increases top line revenue. Palantir 2369, ARM 130, CrowdStrike 314. Lunar, where's Lunar? They landed on the moon yesterday. Holy shit, dude. Lunar's up 30%. Oh my God. Okay, Lunar's up 30%. Why is SMCI down? How did SMCI just fall 8%? Where did that happen? How did that happen? When did that happen? We were looking at all these other stocks, and SMCI was $1,000 today. Hold on, what was the high today? The high today was $995. I saw it at $998, but it was basically at $1,000. Wow. All right, guys. So here's the question. Do we buy the dip on SMCI? It feels like deja vu from last Friday, right? It feels like deja vu from I asked the same question last Friday when we went to 690. I said, hey, do we buy the dip? All of you said no, and all of you lost me money. If you had said yes, I would have made money. You guys said no. So I'm asking again, do I buy the dip on SMCI? And this time, if you say yes, I'm not going to fucking buy them. I'm not buying this shit. I'm just kidding. But like, okay, so that's down 6%. Rivian is down. Oh my God. Rivian's down another 10%, dude. Rivian's down another 10%. Rivian was down 20% yesterday. Holy crap, dude. Oh my God. Derek sent me this tweet. I got to show you guys about Rivian. Look, he sent me this morning. Look at this. Look at this thing about Rivian. This is what Elon tweeted. Rivian's fluctuating cash pile. Cash on hand. They had 18 billion Q4 2021. They have 7.9 billion. So they've lost basically $11 billion. And then on top of that, Rivian they delivered 14,000 cars. They spent 1.4 billion in OpEx. Tesla spent 2.4 billion in OpEx. They delivered 450,000 cars. So Rivian spent 50% of Tesla's OpEx, and they delivered 1/10 the amount of vehicles. Yeah, I don't know what the thesis is for Rivian. I don't know how anyone could be excited about this. I know this was a big chicken genius stock, and I think I saw his tweet this morning. He was pretty upset that that Rivian was down. But he's been saying Rivian is going to beat. He's been saying Rivian is going to beat Tesla for like the past 5 months since November. Look, Tesla's not doing that well, but Rivian's not doing that well either. So this is not the best. This is not the best for something like Rivian. Okay, so we got Rivian down about 10%. Hood up 2%. Nvidia up 818. SoFi 828. PayPal 5864. Square 81. SMCI down 5%, recovering a little bit. Lunar up 24%. This is pure meme stock to me about Lunar. There is no reason these guys should be up 24%. Them landing on space does not mean they're getting billions of dollars of contracts. but the market's excited about them. They got halted yesterday. I would not chase Lunar. The time to chase it was at $1 or $2. Now the thing's at $10. I think you can only get burned on that. Even if it keeps going up, it's not worth the risk. So to me, Lunar, I know it's tempting, but that's not something I would chase. CrowdStrike 315, Palo Alto 276, S&P's at 510. S&P is at $510, dude. Every analyst said this would happen by the end of 2024. We are here. We are right now. Like, Tom Lee wasn't bullish enough, apparently. And Tom Lee was trying to be conservative because he knew it was going to be hard for the market to keep like Tom Lee in January. If you saw him on CNBC, he like was very cautious when he was talking because he got 2023 so right that he was kind of afraid to like, you know, mess up the reputation a little bit and be ultra bullish. And then 2024 shits the bed. He was trying to be really conservative. And it seems like even he was not bullish enough for what was going to happen. 510 QQQ is at an all-time high, 440. QQQ is at an all-time high, 440. All right, so let's ask a poll in the chat. Here we go. This is what we're going to do in the chat. Here's the poll. I'm really curious what people say. I'm really curious about this one. Here's the poll in the chat. The question is simple. It's one question. Okay, yeah. Here we go. Top or not top? That's the poll. Are we at the top or not? Are we at the top or not? Let's see what people think. Are we at the top or not? Bitcoin's falling a little bit. Yes. Bitcoin, 50,873. CleanSpark is down. I sold a little bit of CleanSpark the other day. I was getting a little worried about Bitcoin volatility right now. So we'll see what happens with Bitcoin. But I think we get maybe one last dip to 46 before we run back to all-time highs. But I don't even know if that's going to happen. But right now, Bitcoin down about 0.80% today. Robinhood, I think, is continuing to go. Yep, 14.23 on Robinhood. They're not stopping. They are not stopping at all. They are not stopping. Robinhood continuing to have momentum. SoFi 828, PayPal 58, PayPal now losing some of its gains, and Square up 20%. Square is up 20%. Wow, 75% of you say it's not the top. 75% say it's not the top. That's interesting. That's interesting. So people are like, nope, this is going to keep going. Carvana's up 42%. I think this can keep going, but I do think like there can absolutely be a little bit of a pullback before this keeps going, which is why it might be a short-term top, but not maybe a long-term top. 914 on SMCI. That one's falling. Where's NVIDIA? NVIDIA's not stopping, dude. 818. Dude, this is just insanity. This is absolute insanity on NVIDIA. I mean, guys, NVIDIA added at this point 305, if I'm not doing the math wrong, $1 billion since Wednesday to their market cap. I mean, that's like the PE now on NVIDIA is 66, which is cheaper than it was on Wednesday. Price to book is 46. That's also cheaper. I mean, you can't say that it's necessarily expensive given the growth, but it can become expensive if the growth stops, and no one knows when the hell the growth is stopping. No one knows. I think a small pullback will happen, but continue after that. Yeah, Don, I think that can definitely happen. Squares at 81. Pouncer selling off. All right, so no one wants Pouncer today. My one share helped for like 5 seconds, and then it fell. Pouncer 23.54. See, here's the thing that Pouncer at 20. Okay, so we all know Pouncer at 24 is a little bit rich in terms of valuation. All of us can agree on that. So we hit 24, and then boom, sell. Everyone sold, or at least enough people sold to tank at 50 cents. Order flow right now is 34 million came in, 24 million came out. So on NVIDIA, that's what I'm thinking. Like, at what point does everyone be like, all right, 815, that's too much, or 750, that's too much. Like it seems like that's not happening. Or outflow 2.2 billion, inflow 2.7 billion, $500 million more has come into NVIDIA in the past 18 minutes than has left. So at what point are people having the moment where they look at NVIDIA and they're like, well, 820 is a little too much, sell. Because that hasn't happened really all year. Now NVIDIA for the year to date, NVIDIA year to date now is up 65%. 65%. Lee says, sorry, mid 24 is cheap for Palantir. I'm not saying it's not cheap, but I am saying, well, long term it's cheap, right? But short term, like it can get a little expensive, right? We can all objectively agree that 24, 25 is, you're pushing 60 billion and you're doing 2.6 billion in revenue. Like that's I mean, there's a reason the insiders are dumping their shares right now. So I think 24 long-term is fine, but 24 in the midst of the last earnings report, that's 50% up from the last price. And I think people are like, all right, we're going to take some profits. But that's not happening on Nvidia. It's not happening on Nvidia. Look at Robinhood, 1434. Robinhood starting a little bit of a run. Robinhood right now at 1430. Tesla 195, that's down. PayPal 5862, Square 82, and Nvidia 815. So yeah, I mean that moment where people see 24 on Palantir, and whether you think it's overvalued or not, people are selling at 24. That's not happening on Nvidia. I mean, it just continues to keep inching and inching higher. Unknown says, should I try to get Nvidia options right now? I would not personally advise that, but to each their own. I mean, at this point, look, here's the thing about runs. If you miss the run, you miss the fucking run. It is what it is. Like, I missed the Nvidia run. I'm not in it. It is what it is. But I'd rather objectively say, yeah, I missed it versus chase it. Like, I think that's like a rookie in the market, right? Like, if you're just getting into the markets, you start chasing this stuff versus being objective is like, no, I allocated my capital somewhere else. I'm making other decisions. Maybe I should have allocated more to Nvidia. It is what it is, but I'm not chasing it at this point, you know? And also, if you were going to chase it, it would have been after earnings, like directly after earnings, not 2 days after earnings when it's up, 30%. So I don't know. Philip Rizzo says I'm up 69% on my life savings. So maybe we're at a top. Yeah, maybe we're at a top, dude. Maybe we're at a top. I don't know, dude. Even me, I mean, you guys saw the stats I put up on Twitter the other day. Okay, so because I'm transparent with you guys on everything, I calculated my stats on how I've done income-wise January through February. So, so far, and February's not over yet, but so far I've basically done $12,000 a month in January and February in terms of the emit revenue. Reoccurring revenue to emit was 12,000. 12,000 a month. So 24,000 for the past 2 months. 14 out of that 24,000 was options. Now look, I said this on the market close yesterday. If I make 24,000 in 2 months, so 12,000 a month to start January and February in 2024, and 14,000 out of that 24, almost half of that is, or more than half of that is from me selling options. I think we're getting to a little bit of a top because I'm not that smart enough to be making that much money from options. Okay. Like I'm just not that smart of a guy yet. So I'm saying this in all sincerity. Like, I genuinely am saying this. It should not be that easy for someone like me to make money like that, which means things are going up. Things are swinging. The market's in full force. Yes, I took advantage of some good opportunities, but it means the opportunities were available to be taken advantage of. And then boom, you've got money, right? And so I don't know. I think like the idea that, here's another tweet that happened last night. I mean, this was a hilarious tweet. This is from a big account on Twitter. They got a text from their brother, and their text from their brother said this: "Are you bullish on Nvidia?" The person said, "My brother, who never texts me about stocks or investing, just sent me this message. Take it for what it's worth." Do you guys remember in 2021 when everyone was chasing Dogecoin? My sister was making money off Dogecoin. My sister doesn't give a shit about crypto. Like, if we're in that world, it can definitely feel a little toppy. It can absolutely feel a little toppy right now. And so if that's the case, maybe that's not. But now look, even if that is the case, right, to present the bull case of that, even if there is a top, where's the bottom, right? Like what? We go from 507 to 495 on the S&P. We go to 490, which is really nothing. We were just at 490 a couple weeks ago. Like, that's not really a decline. So 2024 just might be one of the best bull market rallies we've seen in our lifetimes because the momentum is there. Inflation's coming down. The market wants to go up after declining 80% in most equities in 2022. I was down 50 grand in 2022. A lot of people were down a lot of money, and money markets still have 7 trillion on the sidelines, 6 trillion on the sidelines. By the way, speaking of money markets, we got the new update. What do you guys think? I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Do you think we decreased or increased on the money markets? Decreased or increased? Let's see what you guys think in the chat. Decreased or increased on the money markets? What do you think? Is inflation coming down? Yes, not at the rate the Fed wants. It's at 3.1. The Fed wanted 2.9 last week, or 2 weeks ago. But if it does get to 2.7, 2.6 by the end of the year, I mean, inflation's coming down, dude. Inflation's coming down. All right, what does everyone think? Everyone thinks decrease. Decrease, decrease, decrease. Remember, money market funds indicate how much money is deciding to not play with the big boys in the markets. Decrease, decrease, decrease. Some people say increase. All right, here we go. Money market funds as of February 22nd, 2023 have decreased. Total money market fund assets decreased by 5.3 billion. Now, I know that's a small amount, but last week it was 4 billion. You put that together, that's 9 billion. Now, 9 billion is a relatively small amount compared to 6 trillion, but the point is 9 billion left the safe and comfortable money market funds, and they went west. You know that saying, like, go west, explore, go west, young man? That I forgot what poet said that, go west. Put in the chat, who said that famous quote, go west, young man? I think it's like a musician or something. But the point is they went west. They're going to explore, and they're going to see what other opportunities can give them a return on their capital. And it's not the money markets. It's not the money markets, at least for now. Now, granted, look, 6 trillion is still a lot there, but I think that points to the opportunity that if we see that trend for the next few weeks, decreasing, yeah, money's leaving and it's coming somewhere else. Robinhood 1435. Look at Robinhood, dude. Just a fucking champ. Just an absolute champ. Absolute stunner. Robinhood options right now are up 88%. We're up 24 grand on those options. So those are doing well. I've basically decided I just want to ride those out until, like, this is what I've decided on the options. Let me show you guys. It was Tupac. Tupac did not say that, dude. It was Pet Shop Boys. Pet Shop Boys said West End Girls. Oh, okay. I think you're right. You guys are right. I think there was a song, right, about that, about going west. I know there's a song called West End Girls, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, it means to go out and explore, and it seems like that's what's happening. So here's what I want to do with the Robinhood options. And I came to this conclusion a couple of days ago because I really do think that my conviction is starting to get higher for them, especially given what's going on with crypto. So here are the options right now, where they're up 88% right here. So my goal is to make this $100,000 exit in profit, not in revenue. Meaning, like, I put in 30 grand, so I need to basically triple it to make 100,000 on this trade. And I think that's possible. If Robinhood can get to $20, you guys see this? Okay. For Robinhood to get to $20, for us to make about 100 grand in profit, we would have to wait until December 12th, 2025. That's when the option would mature. Now, anything can affect that volatility, all this stuff, but generally that's, like, theoretically how it could happen. If Robinhood gets to, let's say, 25, then that becomes closer. Then $100 could happen by May of 2025. If Robinhood actually gets to 30, which I don't think is going to happen, quite frankly, and maybe I'm not bullish enough, but we could leave by December 2024 with 100 grand in profit. That the spread would be worth $3.64. We spent 78 cents. That would be a 3.2x. We would make $100,000 in profit, and then we would send $55,000 to Uncle Sam the next day. But nonetheless, we would do that, right? Now, that's if Robinhood gets to $30 by December. So the question is, can Robinhood actually get to $30 by December for us to legitimately get to 100K in profits? Which means it has to go up basically 100%, right? It's at 15 or 14. It has to go up more than 100%. I'm skeptical. I don't know if $30 in the next 7 months is possible. I'm very bullish, but even that is asking a lot. So more likely than not, by mid 2025, we could probably get out of the trade at 100 grand, even if the market stays the way it's supposed to stay and we don't have a crash and Robinhood continues to inch up to that $25 range. But, and there's a big but here, I like them and I cannot lie. If Robinhood gets to 30, it's because Bitcoin's probably getting to all-time highs. And we saw Robinhood get to crazy levels when Bitcoin got to all-time highs last time. So if Bitcoin gets to 70, 80,000, there you go. You're going to have Robinhood get to those levels. You're going to have Robinhood get to those levels. I was kidding about 55,000 Uncle Sam. I was just kidding. I'm just exaggerating that if we make 100 grand in profit, we're going to have to give a shit ton of money to the government. But the point is, like, that's my thesis here. If Bitcoin actually breaks to all-time highs, Robinhood's going to the moon. The crypto revenues, and it's not me speculating, the crypto revenues in Q2 2021 were 233 million. Right now, they're barely 40 million. Like, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to go up. And if it goes up, we're going to see a lot more momentum there. Now, granted, this is really being speculative right now. So the reason I brought this up is just to say, I'm not selling those options. I'm just going to let them ride out, because the best case scenario, Bitcoin moons, and then we get some momentum. Worst case scenario, Bitcoin stalls. And if it does, then we have 2 years for them to expire. So we have plenty of time. Nvidia's down 807 right now, 2.7%. So Nvidia's coming down. Where's PayPal? PayPal's down from 1% up. Carvana's up 44%. Carvana maintaining its momentum. Tesla's down 1%. SMCI, wow, down 10%. SMCI is down 10%. SMCI is down 10%. So that one, that's bad, guys. SMCI down 10% is not good. I mean, people got into SMCI heavy yesterday. Horace Greeley. He's the guy who said, "Go West, young man." I just Googled it. Horace Greeley. He's a New York newspaper editor and author. Horace Greeley. When did this guy live? Now I'm curious. Horace Greeley, "Go West, young man." That's such an inspiring thing, right? Go West, young man. He died in 1872. Okay. So yeah, his words live on through my market open stream. 873 SMCI and down about 10.3%. Now Nvidia's up 2%. They were up 5%. Nvidia comes down 3%. SMCI is down 10%. I don't really know why SMCI is down. I would argue that speculation should be increasing if Nvidia goes up, but I guess people are finally taking profits. Palantir as well getting hit 23.30. The street's like, you know what? We're just not going to let Palantir get to 24 today. It is a Friday. Things tend to sell off on a Friday. We have to remember that. So that's one thing that's happening right now with Palantir. QQQ 438, that's selling off a little bit. CleanSpark down 3%. That's selling off. Shopify down 1%. Yeah, broader market selling off a little bit. TFC selling off. Enphase as well, down 1.55%. They are selling off. Alexis Texas. I don't know who Alexis Texas is. So I know who Horace Greeley is. I don't know who Alexis Texas is. So I don't know. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I've been to Texas before, but I don't know who that is. AMD. Oh boy. AMD's down 2%. AMD's down. It was up 10% yesterday. It is down. Rivian now down 11%, dude. Goodness gracious. Rivian was at $30, $25 2 days ago. That was a bad earnings. AMD's down. Well, AMD didn't deserve to be up 10% yesterday. I think we all knew that. But AMD now is down 2% on the day. Google Hermit. No, I don't want to Google Alexis Texas because, I don't know exactly what will pop up if I Google Alexis Texas. I have a feeling of what's going to pop up. Definitely not something I can show live on the stream. So I'm not going to be searching Alexis Texas. SKYT. I've never seen that. I've never seen that ticker. SKYT. Skywater Technology. This is down 7%. Never heard of this one. I'll put it on my list. Take a look at it. Earnings from yesterday. So we had Carvana's up 40%. Square is up 16%. Nubank's down 0.68%. Wow. Mercado Libre is down 12%. Mercado Libre is down 12%. Hold on. Let me pull up. I'm going to try to pull up their earnings. I tried to pull them up yesterday. They beat on EPS and revenue, but I think their growth started stalling for Q1 2024. At least that's what their guidance was. And that's maybe why we saw some of these issues here. So here's their letter to shareholders. Let's just pull this up real quick. Who owns Meli? Mercado Libre. Nvidia did a comeback. Nvidia's back at 810. See, Nvidia and SMCI are diverging. Look at that. Nvidia's top was 820 today. Right now, Nvidia's 810. Palantir's 2346. Robinhood's 1430. Look at Robinhood being a champ, staying at 1430. SoFi's down. SoFi started going down. By the way, Anthony Noto and what's her name? Kathy did an interview. So some new stuff to look at there. And then SMCI down 8%. Very interesting. Okay, here's Mercado Libre. I just wanted to get some of their top line numbers. They had a decent earnings, but not enough for the street to get excited. Revenues of $4.933 billion, up 41% year over year, 82% year over year on a FX neutral basis. Income from operations, $240 million, 56 billion total payment volume, up 57% year over year, 13.5 billion GMV, up 40% year over year. You look at those metrics and you say there's no reason the stock should be down 12%. I think two things. Number one, the stock was starting to be priced for perfection. Number two, guidance for Q1, not the best. And that's why it's down 12%. That might be a dip worth looking into. I haven't studied their financials that well. They're basically the Amazon of Latin America. They have a good credit business as well. So it's not just e-commerce, which doesn't have the best margins, but their margins, from my understanding, are better than Amazon's. That might be something to actually look into a little bit. Palo Alto is up 5%. All right, so that one's recovering a little bit, which makes sense. Probably didn't deserve to be down 30%. So that one, if you got the bottom, maybe that's the bottom. And then where's Google? Google's had a fun week. Google's up a little bit, 0.18%. Pretty much most people I know that are like, on Twitter and the stock space, they've talked pretty negatively about Google, and a lot of them have sold. A decent amount of people are saying that the wokeness stuff is overblown, which I agree. I think it's kind of like it doesn't deserve to destroy Google. The problem is which I sold Google at 149. I am starting to feel fundamentally unstable about that search business actually being the cash cow that Google has had it become to get it to be a $2 trillion company. And maybe that doesn't happen for the next few years, but it's going to happen, dude. At some point, people are going to stop searching. And one of the things we talked about yesterday is the cost for inferencing versus the cost for retrieval of information. Retrieval for information is a couple of cents per query. Brad Gerstner was talking about this because you just show blue links. But inference, which is training and models and LLMs and actually giving an answer when someone says, how do I bake a chocolate chip cookie versus giving them a link, that costs a lot more compute. And that costs like an order of magnitude more in terms of the pennies you pay for each query and answer. So Google's in a different situation. They're in a bit of an innovator's dilemma, and it's going to take a while to see what happens from there. Where's the Wix? Where's the VIX? VIX is basically down. Yeah, it's down 2% today. Look at that. VIX is actually down. That's interesting because the volatility has definitely gone higher today. And then the 10-year, where's the 10-year? 10 years down as well. Look at that. 10 years actually down somehow. Interesting. So Nvidia earnings got the 10-year to be down, but it definitely increased a lot of volatility, but it made the VIX also go down up 2% or down 2%. Rango says, what changed, bro? I've been saying this for a few months, genuinely asking what changed your mind. I think what changed my mind, quite frankly, Rango, it's not just about the search stuff. It's the feeling that we're at a top in the market. And so what really changed my mind, what really got me to pull the trigger on getting rid of Google, because I knew about this whole search monopoly thing. Rango's been talking about it for a while, was when we got to 149 and I saw Nvidia at that point, it was 1.7 trillion. Now, Nvidia is 2 trillion. So imagine how I feel now. I felt like we were getting to a top and I needed to raise cash. And when I needed to raise cash, the question was, what do I offload? It wasn't Palantir. It wasn't TFC. It wasn't Robinhood. It was Google. It wasn't PayPal, even though maybe it should have been PayPal, but it was Google. I was like, you know what? Fuck Google. And it's just like, as soon as I said that in my head, I was like, yeah, I kind of don't want to hold this thing anymore. I don't feel comfortable. And then I just kind of went into that entire, thesis of like, well, maybe Google isn't what I thought it would be. Now it's probably going to do well, but I thought Google could get to about 250 by 2026. It's at 144. I don't know if that happens, dude. I don't know if we see Google at 250 by 2026. That would be tough. So I think when your back's against the wall and you have to like make a decision on getting rid of a stock, the psychology and your framework start really facilitating a method for you to figure out, do you actually want to own this or not? And when it came to Robinhood or Palantir, I wanted to keep holding. When it came to PayPal, I probably shouldn't want to keep holding, but I wanted to keep holding. When it came to Google, I was like, I just don't feel comfortable holding this thing. I really don't. Now, if they gave a dividend, if they did more buyback, if they did something like Zucks did on his earnings call, I probably wouldn't care about all this woke stuff. I'd be like, you know what? It's still undervalued. I don't care. But I'm starting to feel it's a little too much. BRK, Mr. Seymour Duck, thank you for the $5 super chat. Berkshire Hathaway, wow, all-time high, 420 on Berkshire. Berkshire Hathaway, 420. If you compare, hold on, BRK stock. I want to compare this with ARK right now. ARK Innovation. Let's look at these. Let's look at this. Berkshire versus ARK. Berkshire versus Derek says Google missing out, losing to Microsoft and OpenAI. They are missing out on every deal. I would agree, Derek. I think Microsoft and OpenAI are beating Google in a lot of ways. In definitely a lot of ways. I mean, the fact that Google basically owned ChatGPT before ChatGPT became ChatGPT, and then the Microsoft steal all their thunder. It's quite incredible. Okay, so here's Kathy versus Buffett. Year to date, Buffett's up 13%. Kathy's down. Kathy's flat, basically. Over the 1 year, Kathy's up 26. Buffett with Kraft Heinz, Moody's, and Wells Fargo is beating Kathy over 1 year, up 36%. Over the past 5 years, wow. I'm about to screenshot this. I've got to screenshot this and put this on Twitter. I have not looked at this in a while. Berkshire Hathaway is up 100%. Kathy Wood is up 12%. I mean, this is just, dude, that's is incredible. That's insane. That is insane. Over the max Over the max, Kathy is up. No, she's not. She's up 150%. Berkshire's up 182%. Year to date, he's beating her. 3 months, he's beating her 14% to 6. 6 months, he's beating her. He's down a little bit. 6 months, 17 to 19. Year to date, he's up 13 to flat. Wow. Wow. Now, Apple is a big part of this, but here's the thing. Even if anyone's like, oh, well, Apple's the reason why Buffett's performing. In the context of Kathy basically said Mag 7 is trash. I remember the interview with Brett Winton in May. I was reacting to it, and he said like all of Mag 7 is like not innovative. Like there's the literal words coming out of the chief futurist out of ARK. And Berkshire was just like, well, Apple is going to win out of most of the Mag 7, and they betted when Apple was $500 billion. Kathy has bet on everything except Mag 7, and none of it has really taken off outside of Tesla. And Tesla's been flat for 3 years. And if she didn't get into Tesla in 2016, there wouldn't really be anything for Tesla. So it's really interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely not interviewing Kathy. No, but granted, okay, I don't think Kathy cares. So Meet Kevin has talked badly about Kathy Wood for years, right? Like, and when I mean talk badly, I don't mean like make fun of. I just mean like, like you call out someone when they're losing. It is what it is. Like I'm down 60% on PayPal. Everyone can call me out on PayPal. It is what it is. You have to take your L's publicly, right? But he still got to interview her. He still got to have dinner with her. And the reason that happened is because Kathy doesn't give a fuck about the media. He was telling me this on our interview when I went to see him a couple of weeks ago. He was basically like, I asked Kathy about what does she deal with when it comes to the media negative comments, because I mean, like, she's a big figure, right? People talk a lot of shit, and she was like, oh, I don't read any of that stuff. I don't look at it, and it really changed Meet Kevin's perspective, because he was like, oh, well, why am I as a YouTuber looking at comments if Kathy Wood, who's managing billions of dollars, is not looking at comments? And so I think even if I said, Kathy Wood is underperforming Berkshire in a really bad way, I don't think she would care. Like, as long as she can do an interview that she thinks is advantageous for her, she doesn't give a shit. So I don't think she would reject the interview on that. But in general, she does not care that much about media. It's the difference between traders and investors. This is why you hold good stocks. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Kathy's entire thesis is we have a 5-year horizon, and then she's never followed through on her 5-year horizon. This is what she bought yesterday on Twitter. Not on Twitter, on ARK, but I posted it on Twitter. So this is what she bought. She bought 100,000 new shares of Roku. Okay. Oh, I didn't tweet this. Oh, I must have seen it. I thought I tweeted it. She bought 100,000 shares of Roku. Okay. She bought, she didn't buy any more SoFi yesterday. Let me just pull it up on my phone. I don't know why it's being weird. She bought 100,000 shares of Roku. She didn't buy any more SoFi yesterday. She sold more Coinbase. So this is what she did. Okay, I don't know why the email's not popping up. That's weird. I thought it was there. See, Twitter search has to get better. Okay, here we go. We finally got it. Twitter search is worse than Google search. Here we go. So she bought 170,000 of Roku, 106,000 10x Genomics. She bought 90,000 of Archer Aviation, which is a very interesting company as well. Ticker symbol ACHR. They SPAC'd in 2021. She bought more Roku. She sold 73,000 shares of Teladoc, which is interesting. She sold another 358,000 shares of Teladoc. Remember, she bought Teladoc 2 years ago at $240. And now she's selling it as it fell 20%. And then she bought 2 million more shares of Ginkgo Bioworks. 2 million more shares of Ginkgo Bioworks. Now, here's the thing about Ginkgo. I like Ginkgo, but Ginkgo's not going anywhere for a while. And it seems like she keeps piling into Ginkgo. And and Buffett would never do that, right? Buffett would never get into something as speculative as Ginkgo. And then I don't think he would keep losing on a trade. Now, he's done that with Kraft Heinz. People say Kraft Heinz has been a tough one for him. But outside of that, it's not, Kathy's got Path, Teladoc, Roku, Coinbase, Zoom. I mean, like, the list goes on and on about Shopify, the shit she bought when it was just so high that she's either Spotify, Palantir, that she either sold out of or DCA'd in. And the DCA, is still pretty hard because she bought in really tough. Nubank's at 1020, Coinbank at 164, QQQ at 438. Where's SMCI? CleanSpark is down 4%, SMCI down 10%, and Nvidia is up 2%. Up 2%. Where's Teladoc? Teladoc down 3.85%. Wow. Dude, Teladoc's $14. Teladoc was 21 on Tuesday. I saw it fall to 16. I didn't see it fall back to 14. If you're red on a day like this, that is bad, dude. I mean, in the past 2 days, the whole market's up. So if you're red today, Something's going on. IWM, where's the Russell? I bet that's down. Yep, that's down. Small caps are not getting the love that people thought small caps would get. Small caps are not getting the love that people thought. I had a friend who actually sold his Robinhood to get into a leveraged small cap ETF. It's like TNA or something. What is that thing called? This is, yeah. Oh boy. When did he sell? I think he sold in like January. What is the year to date on TNA? Because when he texted me that, I was just like, dude, I didn't respond. I was kind of just like, this is not the best decision in my opinion. Yeah, he's down 7% the past week. He got into it in January, right? So hold on, 1 month. When did he get in? He got in, yeah, he probably got in around $35. Right now it's at 36. So maybe he's up a little bit. Robinhood went from fucking 10 to 14. So when he said that, he texted me. He's like, yeah, I'm selling my Robinhood. I'm getting into this directionally leveraged small cap ETF. And in my head, I was like, I get the small cap thesis, but like, Robinhood is kind of a pseudo small cap that actually has a catalyst behind it. Why would you sell Robinhood for this shit? You know, it didn't make sense to me. But now, granted, if we actually have the large cap rotation into small cap, which when Nvidia is at 2.2 trillion, I mean, really, how much juice is there left to squeeze in this thing? And I said that at 500, quite frankly, so I'm not the best person to say that. But at this point, it's getting a bit ridiculous. Maybe we see the rotation of small caps, and maybe something like a TNA is really going to perform, or Robin is going to perform, etc. But you don't know. You know, we don't know. Robinhood right now, 1430. Where's Palantir? Palantir, 2339. Palantir down a little bit today. He's actually a really smart guy, dude. He's a very smart guy. Like, I respect his opinion a lot. Me and him talk about finances a lot. He's a numbers guy. Like, he's really smart. He helped me kind of think of the Robinhood thesis. And then he sold out of it. And I was so confused. I was just like, this is why conviction is important. Because he's a smart guy, dude. And the day he texted me that he was selling out of his Robinhood, I thought about it for 2 seconds. And then I was like, all right, this is fucking stupid. And I moved on, right? Now, 2 years ago, Amit would have been like, oh my God, if this guy's selling out of Robinhood, I definitely got to reevaluate my entire thesis. So maybe I got it wrong. But no, this time I was like, I've done the fucking DD. Okay. I like double Ds. I've done the DD. And if I've done the DD, then I might be wrong, but I'm not going to be wrong because this guy sold out. I'm going to be wrong because the DD was wrong. And so that's you live with the sword or you die with the sword, right? You don't just sell because one of your friends who's really smart says that they want to sell. And so far that's worked okay. But we'll see. Crypto's got to continue running for this to really happen. Raj says, buy the dip in SMCI. I wouldn't buy the dip in SMCI. I would be scared to buy the dip in this thing. If this thing could go to 690 last week, why can't it come back to 600 if the broader S&P falls like 1 or 2%, which at this point it's at 510. Do we not think the S&P could fall a couple percentage points? That could happen. That could definitely happen. Arnie says Druckenmiller sold Palantir at $10. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Some of the best Druckenmiller. Now, in fairness to Druckenmiller, he sold out of Palantir at 10, but he bought so much Nvidia, it's ridiculous. Like, if you look at his 13G, he basically sold out of Palantir at 10, and he bought Microsoft and Nvidia. I think he bought like 700,000 shares between Microsoft and Nvidia, and he's up really well on that. So even he lost conviction, and since then Palantir has doubled, more than doubled. Nvidia has done really well as well, but you know, some of the biggest guys in the world can lose their conviction on really big companies. I'm so sad none of you got the DD joke. The only person that got it was ET FaceTime. I thought more of you would have commented once I made that DD joke. I know I made it in a very slick way, but I thought there would be a barrage of comments that were like, "Oh, that's a great joke," but none of you guys recognized it, which is okay. I understand that you guys don't get humor, but maybe you guys should learn how to get humor because that was a good joke. All right, here's Dan Niles talking about why the Magnificent Seven should be renamed the Fantastic Four. Here we go.
Magnificent Seven should be rebranded the Fantastic Four. On that list, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, and Nvidia. That stock pointed more gains in the pre-market this morning. This after a 16% spike yesterday, juicing markets all around the world. Joining us right now, Dan Niles, founder and senior portfolio manager of the Satori Fund. Good morning to you. I was going with the fancy four. Fancy four, we like.
I like the word fancy.
Well, I'm a superhero fan, so I had to go with the Fantastic Four. So what can I tell you?
I hear you. But why don't you just explain why you're taking 3 off the list? I'm curious about, actually.
Well, I think if you look at the last 2 years, really stock prices were driven by the Fed. So you go back to 2022, the fantastic or the Magnificent Seven, as they called them, were down 46% during that period of time. And that was because we had the fastest rate hikes in history, had very little to do with earnings. You go back to last year, the Magnificent Seven were up 111% over that same period of time. Again, not really earnings driven. Every stock went up because Fed was on hold. People were at one point expecting up to 7 rate cuts. And so multiples expanded across the board and stocks ripped. Right now, where you are is earnings seem to be driving a differentiation among these names. So Apple, after they reported their December quarter, estimates went down again from March. For Tesla, similar situation. And if you look at Google in that group, they did well in their AI-related business, Google Cloud, but their big business, which is search, which is what they're known for, and YouTube, both of those categories missed. Meanwhile, you had Meta blowing out numbers. If you look at those 3 that I dropped off the list, that's what they all have in common. The earnings are struggling. They're having issues with competition. And I think you're seeing that in the stock prices where Apple, Tesla are both down this year. Google's underperforming the market. And then the Fantastic Four are absolutely doing great because the numbers for 3 of the 4 went up a ton. And, Microsoft, obviously, ChatGPT, they own 49% of OpenAI, massive benefit for that for them. So that's why we've dropped those 3 off the list. It's competition issues.
Okay, so
while he finishes, put in the chat, if you had to get rid of a couple of these, if you had to get rid of 3 out of the 7, what 3 would you pick? Would you agree with him? Or which 3 would you get rid of out of the Magnificent Seven?
of the fantastic or fancy 4, as we're going to call them here on Squawk, which one do you like the most? You're only allowed to own 1.
If I had to own one just from a risk reward basis, I'd probably go with Meta. It was my top pick, one of my top 5 picks.
I had a feeling he would say Meta. Also put that in the chat. Which one would you have to pick out of all 7 if you had to pick one? I had a feeling he would say Meta. From this price, not from 2 years ago, from this price today, including Nvidia at 805, which one would you pick for the next couple of years?
Last year, the stock, obviously tripled last year. Almost tripled. And if you look at it this year, it's also doing well. And the reason why I like it is they're using AI to help drive content recommendations so people are more engaged with the platform. They're using it to drive better ad monetization. And if you think about this year, your segment before was talking about the election coming up. It's going to be the most hotly contested election we've ever seen with tons of advertising. And that's really going to benefit Meta during that period of time as well. And it's growing high teens, but you can buy it at a 24 PE. The entire market's trading at, the S&P is trading at 21 times. So it's got this great combination of low valuation, fast growth, and a presidential election that's a nice kicker towards the end of the year. And so that's why that's probably my top pick.
What do you think of Nvidia? I mean, some people think that this has so much more room to run, and others say it has run too far.
Well, there's a time element and a multiple element to this. So if you go back to the tech bubble, which we all lived through, Cisco at the time was the most valuable company in the world. NVIDIA is now the 3rd most valuable company. But during the peak of that bubble, Cisco was growing revenues close to 60%, but it had a PE of 138 times. NVIDIA grew revenues at just over 100% last year, forecasted to grow 90% this year. Cisco peaked at 138 times. NVIDIA is at 35 times.
That right there is insane, dude. That right there is the stat that I think really makes it not a Cisco in 2000.
There's a whole group of semiconductor companies that actually have higher PE ratios than NVIDIA does, believe it or not. So, and NVIDIA is enabling the AI revolution. And don't forget, we never even heard of ChatGPT until November of 2022. That tech bubble, you could argue, started in 1995 when this new thing called the internet, what's that, showed up. And it took 5 years for you to actually build to that peak. So this is a year and a quarter or so since ChatGPT showed up. I think you have a long more way to go before you kind of get to that peak level of euphoria, if you want to call it that, because we're nowhere near that yet.
That's a hell of a point, dude. That's a hell of a point. So Cisco was growing 60% year over year at its peak, trading at 135 times PE. Nvidia growing 120% year over year, 90% projected next year, trading at a 35 times PE. I mean, that's a hell of an argument for why maybe this is a bubble, but it's a bubble that's going to take 5 years to pop, just like 1995 to 2000 was. And then, it pops. But maybe we're in 1995. The other point about ChatGPT showing up in November 2022, that's a good point as well. Dude, like my mom barely knows what ChatGPT is. Like most of the world still does not know what ChatGPT and all these AI-based programs are. Like LLMs and retrieval augmented generation, RAG, like all these concepts, they're still very new. And like 0.1% of the world maybe even understands them. So to say that this is a broad scale bubble because everyone knows about it, it's like everyone definitely doesn't know about it. Everyone's definitely not using it. ChatGPT only has a couple 100 million users, whereas Google has, the whole planet. So maybe there is a lot of room for a large cap to keep running. It's just at this point, the valuations are getting a little ridiculous, but maybe those valuations can get ridiculous because the growth is going to be also ridiculous. The thing is, the growth has been ridiculous for one company, Nvidia. The growth has not been ridiculous for all the other companies. I mean, I would say Meta is the next one on that ridiculous list in terms of real growth. But outside of that, Microsoft's probably third. Outside of that, Google, Amazon, they're not literally growing to the Nvidia type of point. Michael says it's true. Most people don't even know about ChatGPT or use it. Still early. Yeah, dude. Most people don't use LLMs. I use LLMs all day now. That's like everything I use in a variety of tasks. But most people don't use it, much less are paying for it. Like my sister, dude. My sister. I asked her the other day, I was like, so what do you think about the Apple Vision Pro? She was like, what's that? And it dawned on me for a second. I was like, oh, so like, I actually like pay attention to what's happening in the world. Most people don't care, dude. Like my sister did not know. I was like, it's the VR. She's like, what are you talking about? She didn't have any clue. She had no clue Apple announced back in June of last year this new spatial computing. Like she had no idea, dude. We are so early, I think, in so many things. But the question is if valuations can support it, Otto says when your grandma tells you to use ChatGPT to write your birthday card, it's peaked. That is true. That is indeed true. Okay, so this argument by Joseph says Cathie Wood was buying Nvidia at $5. She's years ahead of most people. I think this is one of the worst arguments, and that's not to pick on you, Joseph, but this is an argument I hear people say a lot of times. It doesn't matter if Cathie was buying Nvidia at $5. The ARC Innovation Fund is not what is done well based on the opportunity cost of selling Nvidia for Zoom. So yes, they might have bought it at $5, but the point is, you bought it at $5. You sold out of a lot of it. Right now is where the accelerated kind of generative AI revolution is happening. It's up, 4 or 5x, which she's a public market investor. She's not a private market investor. So being up even 30% is amazing for Cathie. This thing's up 4 or 5x in the past couple of years. And she doesn't have any exposure to it, or she has very minimal exposure to it compared to something like Zoom, Roku, or Coinbase. So yes, Cathie bought it early in 2014. The problem is the fund started in 2016. And the fund did not have as much allocation to it as it could have had based upon all the new capital that came in 2021, because all that capital, instead of going to Nvidia at 100 in October 2022, it went to Teladoc at 300. So I think that's the broader problem. Rango says the problem that she didn't hold is her problem. Yeah, she didn't hold it, which is again against her thesis of like this, 5-year long-term horizon. So yeah, she got Nvidia, but she didn't hold it, and she definitely doesn't have enough exposure to it for her clients, which is why I always thought that argument was just like, well, it doesn't matter if she bought it early because she doesn't own it anymore. And so that might be overall hurting her long-term returns. How did Cathie not see where Nvidia was going along with her inside knowledge and team looking at this stuff? I am starting to come to the conclusion that I don't think Cathie's research team is looking at certain trends. And I know that's crazy to say because they publish a phenomenal amount of research and really good stuff, but it looks like they're looking for stuff that supports their thesis on the world, not what's happening. Because if their thesis on the world was that Microsoft wouldn't be a big player in AI, Meta and targeted advertising wouldn't be as important as Roku with targeted advertising, like it's just a fundamental mistake in my opinion. So, I mean, I think it's not that they do bad research, it's that their research is a bit different. And at the end of the day, the quality of your research determines your positions on equities, right? Like my research on Robinhood allowed me to buy into Robinhood. My research on Palantir allowed me to get into the Palantir. So research really is everything. And at the point where your research is saying, hey, sell Palantir to buy Roku, like maybe they don't have the best research. I mean, maybe they just don't have the best. Nvidia 799. So Nvidia taking a little bit of a breather now. Nvidia falling a little bit. So that's out up 1.6%. People are taking their profits. SMCI 8.71% down. PayPal 58.91. Palo Alto Networks 279. ARM 133. Yeah, things are taking a little bit of a break. CleanSpark down 5.4%. Spotify up a little bit. SoundHound, remember that company? That's down 1.4%. They're up 100% year to date, but they're down. Where's Lunar? Lunar's still up 17% today. Lunar's still up 17%. Nvidia dropped below 800. Yeah, Nvidia dropped. So yeah, I think we're gonna see, or at least right now, 10:30, we're seeing a little bit of a small pullback. The market euphoria is getting up there, but I wouldn't be surprised if by power hour, this thing just comes roaring back. Quite frankly, I don't know, dude. At this point now, it's that psychology thing we talked about. When this thing dips, let's say Nvidia gets to 785. I mean, people are gonna want to buy that dip. People are gonna. So it's just, I just don't know what's gonna stop this thing. I don't know what is going to stop this thing. Tom says, imagine all the ad data Meta can scrape from all the user photos and stories using multimodal AI. Dude, that is such an interesting concept. So right now, Meta gets data from like how you interact with the platform. If Meta could get data even deeper and more granular about how a user is actually posting certain types of content, it just makes the ad recommendation system even better, dude. It makes their ads better. They're going to grow top line ads. There's not that many places to advertise outside of Meta. You're not going to Reddit. You might go to Reddit and you might get some value, but Reddit's probably not the best one. But it's just like, it's probably gonna be Meta. And probably Meta and Google, and Meta's going to take advantage of that. Rango says they don't listen to what management says they're going to do. They're in La La Land where she has expectations from management and they don't follow up. ArcG, I don't have. Her top holding is Teladoc. Yeah, and that's also insane that ArcG actually has Teladoc in there. Vitaly says Meta's almost 500. Where's Meta right now? Vitaly has a shit ton of Meta. Look at that. Meta's at all-time highs. Wow, it hit 494 today. It hit 494. This stock is one of my biggest regrets because I had this stock and I didn't DCA into this stock. This is one of my biggest regrets. I have been one of the biggest supporters of Zuck. And I take a lot of heat for that, dude. A lot of people, I mean, on Twitter, they'll just kill you if you say, I don't think it's that big of a deal that Zucks is chasing profits over mental health. I think maybe the parents should be responsible for mental health. You say that shit and people will just come at you. They're like, how could you say it? It was like, well, at the end of the day, maybe you got to be a better parent. I've said that and I've not owned Meta stock. And it's one of the, and I've never owned it because it kept getting away from me. And I put more money into Palantir and that's done well. But like, it's one of those things I want. And I picked Google in September over Meta. When I finally said, all right, I'm going to get some big tech, I picked Google over Meta. And it was the wrong choice. It was objectively the wrong choice. It was the wrong choice. What is Meta's growth driver? Meta won't ever be able to buy another company. They bought Instagram and WhatsApp. And dude, I don't think Meta needs to buy another company. And guys, WhatsApp had 25,000 messages sent per second during the World Cup. I mean, like the scale of that platform and the monetization they're unlocking in terms of India and Brazil and everyone that's going to be able to sell through Meta and WhatsApp. And then you got Quest, which, yeah, it's not going to be Vision Pro, but it's still going to be a good runner-up. And then you got the ad business, which is only getting better and better and better. You're not going to want to advertise on all these shitty other platforms. It's Meta and Google. And if Google search doesn't do that well, then boom, you've got Meta. Instagram's killing it. WhatsApp's killing it. The Facebook Big Blue app, for some reason, people keep checking that thing every day. That's killing it. I'm sure people here in the chat use it. I mean, I use it here and there, but like, it's just the thesis on Meta is pretty obvious. And they're buying back their stock and they're giving you a dividend. I mean, and they bought Oculus. I forgot about that. There's Vitaly in the chat. They bought Oculus. I forgot they bought Oculus. So they were always ahead of the VR train, as well, to make sure that that they play some role there. So this one's got away from me. I'm not chasing this one now, but it wouldn't surprise me if in the next decade this is $1,000, and if not sooner than that, because AI demand is not going anywhere. And Zucks is probably going to innovate some other type of product within Meta. Rango said Meta culture's become hardcore. I have to say, opposite of Google, Zuck cut so deep in Meta. That's the other thing, dude. Zuck's cut 20,000 employees. Like he was like he snapped his fingers and he was like, get rid of these people. He didn't care, and that led to massive reduction on operating expenses. And then boom, there you go. You got better profitability. You're doing 140 billion in revenue. The street's like, why the hell is this trading at a $200 billion market cap? And the thing goes to the moon. Robinhood 1421, and Google hasn't done that. Google has not done that. Square's up 16%. SoFi 819. There are like 26,000 contracts open for $9 calls expiring today on SoFi. I don't know why there's 26,000 call options open for SoFi today, a $9 strike. I don't know why people thought today SoFi was going to go to $9, but that's what those options right now are. Yeah, they're basically flat, but there's 26,000 of those. So yeah, SoFi right now at 820 as well. Someone says, how do you feel about Bezos selling so much Amazon? I kind of feel like it's a top if Bezos is selling 50 billion of Amazon or whatever he's selling. But I also think there's enough liquidity for people to absorb those purchases, and they don't really care that much. So yeah, I mean, look, there's no fundamental reason to sell Amazon. I think Bezos is selling because he's been sitting on those shares for a while. But the market's willing to buy them from him, and Amazon's at 174. It is at a 52-week high today with Bezos selling. Market doesn't care. Jay says, Amit, that's my point. They only grew because of those purchases. They are now a monopoly. Well, here's my thing. If they grew because of those purchases and now they don't need to do any more purchases, they might not need other things to keep them growing, right? Like Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook are prime, and Oculus are in prime time to be able to just return value to shareholders at this point. So maybe they don't need to keep purchasing unless those things, stall out. But if that doesn't happen, then it's going to keep going. Probably a race for a Blue Origin. Yeah, that's another thing. That's probably another reason he had to do that. $8 billion. Yep, $8 billion in the past 10 days, which again feels like it's a top, but it also just feels like Bezos has been sitting on those shares for probably years now at this point, and he's taking profits like all of us will one day on any equity we have. P-Sash, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, what am I missing? Rivian has the highest repurchase rate of any car brand. The R1's best-selling SUV in the USA, over 70K. Bankruptcy risk is priced in. I think the problem is that the street keeps giving expectations for what Rivian will deliver, and they keep coming below those expectations. Your points are not wrong. The problem is they're running out of cash. I don't know if bankruptcy is necessarily priced in. Maybe it's priced in now after being down 30% in 2 days. But they aren't delivering the cars, and they're spending way more to produce way less cars than Tesla. And EV demand in general is a little bit in question. And so the street's like, well, why would we buy the stock? They also did a convertible debt offering in December, which tanked the stock about 10%. So Rivian's had a ton of issues over the past year. Rivian was here. It was at 24 in December, and it was a little bit higher than that. It was at 28 in July. So now it's at 10. One could say it looks attractive right here, but nothing on the fundamentals to me make it look super, super, super attractive. Yeah, because running an EV company is hard. It's as simple as that. I would say so too. That's what Elon said, right? Elon said running an EV company is very hard, very difficult. And at the end of the day, it's not easy to get to free cash flow positive on EVs. Okay, cool. So I think that is the end of the market open. We're going to do Q&A for the next 10 minutes as we always do on Fridays. I'm going to do word of the day. If you guys want to leave, because that is the end of the market open, you guys can leave and we'll just do Q&A for the next 10 minutes. I will have a pod with TJ at 2:00 where we'll be talking about options. He's going to be talking what moves he's been making. So that'll be a fun one. We're going to be learning about the Greeks, theta, and all that stuff. So we'll be talking about that, which will be fun. And then we'll have the market close at 3:45 today. But that's it today for the market open. What are my thoughts on TTWO? This is the video game company, if I'm not wrong. I don't know enough about them at all. So I don't have any thoughts other than they're in a fun space. But Take-Two Interactive, yeah. But I don't have Unity. I don't have a lot of video game companies, so I just don't know enough about them. But I'll take a look at them because I've been seeing them pop up a lot more on Twitter. And Robinhood, so I'll look at them more. Okay, word of the day is Who's this?
Who's this?
Who's this? An object or person whose name is known or cannot be recalled. Okay.
Who's this?
That's actually funny. Can you pass me the who's this on the shelf? What? When I went to the store, I realized I forgot my wallet, so I had to leave the who's this at the checkout counter. Dude, I don't think anyone would ever use this word in real life. I'm sorry. This is not a word we're going to use in real life. An object or person whose name is known or cannot be recalled. So if I'm forgetting something, I'm like, oh, what's the who's this? I don't even think I would remember to say that word in place of me forgetting what to say for something. I've never heard of this word. The World's Got Talent said, I headed to work in an hour. See you tomorrow. Thank you for the market open. Yep. See you tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's Saturday, so I won't see you tomorrow, but still, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Enjoy work. Amid dated a hostess in first grade. All right. That's mean. That's very mean. Her name was Courtney. She was a real person. Okay. She was real. I don't know where she is now. She was blonde, by the way. She was blonde. And one day I'll see her again. Maybe. But she was real. She was not a hostess. That's exactly, Michael. I was actually thinking this comment. Who's this? Like, who is this person? Who's this? Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay. So, I just got a text from someone that says, hey, dude, is this Courtney? I'm not kidding, dude. I just got a text from someone that said, hey, is this Courtney? Is she watching somehow? Did she find me or something? Dude, that's so weird. Who just texted me, hey? I don't even know this number. And it looks like it's Android. Oh no, it's iMessage. It's iMessage. Who the heck is this? That's hilarious, dude. That's hilarious. Okay, so that's the end of Market Open. We'll do a Q&A for the next 10 minutes, and then we'll be out of here. And then again, we got that podcast at 2 p.m. for today. Let me take off the jacket because there's too much accelerated computing in this room right now and generative AI. See the inside pockets here, dude? The inside pockets are elite. When you have inside pockets on a jacket, that's how you know. That's how you know shit is elite. All right, cool. You guys said Kelly would get pissed off. Dude, this is a girl from first grade. I don't think Kelly cares about my romantic crush from first grade. I think she's fine with that. Now, granted, if I met Courtney, that would be pretty cool. Just like see her in person one day. But I don't think that's anything that big of a deal. Honestly, I talked to a friend the other day from like sixth grade. I haven't talked to them in so long. And I found them the other day and we were talking. I was like, dude, it's been so long since I talked to you. And so there is something really nostalgic about finding someone from the past and actually like just saying what's life like, because it's been so long. And so it's kind of cool, just to talk to someone from the past, especially if you went to school with them or something like that. Okay, so let's do Q&A and then we'll get out of here for 10 minutes. Palantir will go to low 22s because of the insider selling. The insiders definitely sold a lot over the past couple of days. Right now, Palantir's at 23.09. It's struggling for 23. Palantir, I saw yesterday, Shyam Sankar sold 50,000. Shyam Sankar sold 50,000. You got Heather Planchik. She sold like 7,000 or 10,000. Then you got another one right here. You've got Carp sold like another 650,000. So people were selling, even if these are scheduled, there are option conversions. We definitely had a lot more selling. Will you live stream yourself watching a horror movie in a VR headset? Please, you would become a meme. I could try doing that. I need to borrow someone's Apple Vision Pro because I'm not going to buy it myself. I need to just borrow it from someone and see and use it for a little bit. I was thinking of buying it, but then I just realized, dude, the next version is going to come out next year. It's going to be cheaper. There's like no reason to spend $4,000 on this. Like this would be dumb. So, but I do want to play with it one day. I just want to use it for a day and see if I actually could get the productivity everyone's saying they're going to get out of it. Because I don't think that's like the case. Robinhood 1432. Robinhood not slowing down. There we go. Robinhood continuing some momentum here right now. Buy a Vision Pro, make it a tax deduction. Yeah, but still, that's $4,000, dude. I don't think I would save as much on the tax write-off as I would lose from spending $4,000 on it. So I don't know if that'd be the best. Michael, that's a funny comment. I would say no. I'm coming up on the age where, there's people from my past that like I've like it would be cool to like my boy David, dude. It's so ironic we're bringing this up. My boy David, he's been my best friend since high school, but we don't talk that often. But like I still consider him my best friend. We used to have a podcast together. Like we were really close. He called me on Monday randomly, and he was just like, "Yo, what's up?" And the reason he called me is because every February I'm usually in Boston during this time. Like for the past 7 years, I've been in Boston or California during this time because there's a debate tournament either at California Berkeley or at the Harvard tournament in Boston. And so usually for like the past 10 years of my life, during this February weekend, I'm not home. And me and him used to have a bunch of tournaments together. So this is one of the first years I didn't go to one of those tournaments because like I'm not really coaching debate as much anymore. So he called me because he was at the tournament. And so it was nice to catch up with him because, usually we see each other at that tournament, but this year we didn't see each other. So it's one of those things where you get older, you kind of value some of the past memories you have with a lot of other people. Boston, your accent's coming out. Yeah, pretty much. Boston's fun, dude. I like Boston. I've had good times in Boston. It's an interesting place. I love Good Will Hunting. So I love the scene where they're, I love that whole atmosphere. But I also, you guys know I got waitlisted from Harvard, right? I almost went to waitlisted. I almost went to waitlisted. I almost went to Harvard. These motherfuckers, dude. I told you guys the story, right? They fucking waitlisted me. So I was pretty good in high school, dude. I was a superstar. I GPA, all that stuff. I was on the USA debate team. I was, top 3 speaker in the world. Like I had a hell of a resume. And so I submitted it and I was like, I think I could get into Harvard. I was like, I could fucking get into Harvard. Why can't I not get into Harvard? Derek says you say tournament like a Bostonian. Tournament. I went to the Boston tournament. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get in. I was so confident, dude. And then I get the letter in May, and then these guys are like, yeah, we will reconsider you in 1 month. We're not saying no, we're not saying yes, we'll reconsider you. And then I'm like, okay, so I'm still gonna get in. They're just gonna take a month to figure it out. And then a month later, they're like, yeah, get the fuck out. You're not coming to Boston. And I was like, damn, that's wild. And now what's really funny is I had a friend who went to a different school in New York. And she went to like a elite school, even though it wasn't private. I went to a public school. But that's when I realized the world is really about who you know, not like what you know. She had a college counselor that had a very good political relationship with the Harvard administration office. Or the administrative, the team that basically looks over the applications. And so her name was Sarah. And I asked Sarah because we both got waitlisted, and then I got rejected. She got in. Now, Sarah was not a superstar in high school. I'm sorry. Like Sarah, if she's watching this, like she just wasn't like, she wasn't that good at debate. Like I debated against her. I beat her ass a lot of times. I mean, like I was really good, right? Like I was, compared to her, I was like, how could Harvard pick you? And then she texted me. She's like, yeah, dude, my college counselor just texted like the Harvard people and they let me in. And I was just like, what? This is how the world works. Your Harvard counselor texted the admissions team and they just let you in. And at that point I was like, okay, so this world is not a world where like merits are always determining everything. Like meritocracy is important, but it takes a certain level of connections, even with that meritocracy, to really develop a sophisticated, a path forward in life. And so, and to get to know people, you also have to be charismatic. You have to be personable. You have to be willing to listen to people. Like all this stuff, these are all lessons I had to learn, right? And so it was really interesting because I think I could have been in Harvard. Now, granted, I'm very happy I didn't go to Harvard. Because I worked my ass off. You guys know about, the business I started when I was in college, and I was able to make real money. I think if I went to Harvard, I would have gotten so comfortable. I think I would have gotten some stupid consulting job. I definitely wouldn't have started YouTube. I would have been like, oh, I'm a Harvard kid. I'm not a YouTuber, right? Like you just have this sense of ego that's just like, when you go to these schools, and you either go into corporate America or you become a schmuck that's kissing some, CEO's ass as their chief of staff or some shit, right? Like you don't actually build your own shit. There are very few examples of those elite kids that actually build their own shit. Zuckerberg, yes. Bill Gates, yes. But those are anomalies. The majority of these elite kids are so scared to fail. And I failed a lot in my life. And I think that's why, that helps me continue to move on, that they wouldn't have done anything. So I think it was probably the best thing for me. Nepotism. Yeah. It's a bunch of nepotism. I think Harvard would have ruined me. I really do. Because by the time I really started making money at like 19 years old, and, when you start making your own cash by yourself, you start to realize like, wait a second, I can fucking do whatever the fuck I want if I put my mind to it. I don't need I don't need some McKinsey to to like say, oh, you're smart. It's like, no, dude, you can do whatever the fuck you want if you really put your mind to it. But you have to have the courage to even think you can put your mind to it. And a place like Harvard makes you think that the world is already formed and you just have to conform to that world. And you're going to get a nice chunk of salary to conform to that world. And you're going to look really cool, but you're not going to have the courage to think that you can do things on your own, you know? I bet Courtney would have gotten in by merit alone. All right, so the Courtney thing is going to become a recurring joke on this channel. It feels like the Courtney thing. You know, I said it out of pure humility that I dated a girl in first grade named Courtney. This is true. This happened. This is not me making it up. And now it's becoming a meme on the channel. Palantir 23.12 right now. Robinhood 14.13 or 14.30. SoFi 820, Robinhood 1429, 1430, and then where's Nvidia? Nvidia 793. Look at that. Nvidia took a little bit of a hit, down 1%. Nvidia took a little bit of a hit. Rivian 1026. They're down. They're down still, and Nvidia down about, or Nvidia up about 1.2%. If you went to Harvard, we'd all be watching Strongman for the market insight. Oh my god. Oh my god. Sarah is no Courtney. Sarah's interesting, dude. She was the sweetest girl. Like when I debated her at tournaments, I remember we had a round and it was not pretty for her, dude. Like, so my reputation when I was a debater amongst the debate community was Amit's going to rip you apart in cross-ex. Like, so in cross-ex and debate is when I get to ask someone questions and they get to ask me questions. And my reputation was, look, if you don't like I would ask questions that would make you look so stupid. You would one time I made a girl cry. Okay. Like it wasn't my fault. She just didn't have an answer to the question. I asked her a question. She didn't have an answer. I asked her a follow-up question. She didn't have an answer. I asked her a follow-up to the follow-up. She didn't have an answer. And I was like, all right, let's just move on. And then when I said, let's just move on, she starts tearing and crying and all this shit. And the judge is just like sitting in the back, like, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. I just asked a couple questions. Like I didn't mean to make her cry. And then so she ended up forfeiting the round and I won. And people say, do you feel bad about that? Not really, dude. Like she couldn't answer the question. That's her fault. Like, I'm not sad for her crying. So like once you do that to someone, the rumors started to spread in the debate community that like Amit's going to ask really tough questions. And so with Sarah, we had a debate round once and I was just like, Sarah, none of this makes any sense. And she was like, well, and I was like, no, how does blah, 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 blah. And she was just like, I mean, she started doing it. Alex Karp. She started fucking stuttering. And then I ended up winning pretty well. And that's why I ended up having a really good debate career when I was in high school. And that's what I thought would attract Harvard. I thought Harvard would be like, all right, this kid, like he's like my SAT wasn't the best. I think my SAT out of a 2400 was a 1990, which isn't the best. You got to have like a 2100. But the reason it was a 1990 is because, and it's so ironic, it's so random. The time I took the SAT, there was a time error. So you get 25 minutes per segment. They gave us 30 minutes in one of the segments. Like our people that administered the test, for those that don't know what the SAT is in America, it's the like standardized test everyone has to take. They gave us 30 minutes instead of 25 minutes. And I think that was one of the best sections I did. And they canceled the fucking section when they gave the results because they were like, oh, it was unfair because you got 5 more minutes, which probably sure we got 5 more minutes, but still like that's what I think tanked my score. That whole test got messed up because they messed up the sections. I feel like they whole calculated everything wrong. And I think if they had not done that, I would have had a way better SAT score. And I think, maybe that would have pushed me over the top. But that was what happened there. So I think her SAT score was good, but like her extracurricular activities weren't as good as me. And she wasn't the debater I was, but she got into Harvard because she had the connections. Amit constantly made her cry by insulting her constantly on stage. Dude, it was bad, dude. Like when it came to asking people questions, that's what you did with the bear cave. Yeah, that's why I wanted to do the Edwin debate. Dude, like the reason I asked, hey, Edwin, what's ontology? Is because I knew he would not have an answer. And I knew if you can't answer that, you're not going to be able to answer this, this, and this. And then you're just going to look dumb for saying Palantir is an AI imposter when you don't know what an ontology is. It's like me saying, oh, NVIDIA is an imposter when it comes to chips. And they're like, so what does GPU stand for? And you're like, if you can't answer that question, dude, you can't write that article. Like you sound like an idiot. So that's what I did for 4 years in debate across the country. I would just go, I would during cross-ex, I would ask these people, and judges, quite frankly, they would just be laughing because I was pretty funny when I did it as well. Like it was a passive aggressive type of humor that judges really started having an affinity for, because a lot of times you get the same judges at these tournaments because they all travel across the country. And they knew whenever they would judge me, they're like, all right, here we go. 3 minutes, Amit's about to do something. And some of these questions I asked were just funny. Like with this one kid was like, oh, we need to go against capitalism. And I was like, Jacob, what school do you go to? He was like, Harvard Westlake. I was like, Jacob, how much does it cost to attend Harvard Westlake? He was like, I don't know. I was like, Jacob, I just pulled it up on Google. It says it costs $47,000 a year to attend Harvard Westlake. He said, okay. I said, Jacob, is that a MacBook? He said, yes. I was like, Jacob, how much did that MacBook cost? He said, I don't know. I was like, do you realize that MacBook was created in China for like $5 and it's being sold for $12.50, and that your school costs $47,000 a year to attend? How can you be against capitalism, Jacob? You know, it's like you would take them through this line of questioning and then they would just start stuttering. And then you would be like, all right, I'm going to win this fucking debate. This is easy. So that was the fun part. Amit making girls cry since first grade. Dude, I hate you guys. I hate you guys so much. Here's the meme I posted yesterday. Look at this meme. Look at this meme. This is an epic meme. Nvidia bulls yesterday. I feel like this is exactly what Nvidia bulls felt like yesterday, dude. You just felt vindicated. You're just like, yeah. I was like, who's gonna stop me? Literally, who's gonna stop me? I won. That's it. It's my world. I officially won. And that's it. Okay, let me show you guys this. This is now I know the perfect caption on this. Okay, so when Amit asks someone a question on the debate stage.
And then on the I think, and so what I think we and obviously
dude, that's how it used to be. That's how it used to be. It was great. Have you ever thought about becoming a lawyer? I thought about that, but going to law school seems really boring. And then debating for like some corporation so that they can save a couple $1,000,000 and then you get paid $200,000 a year. That's not that exciting. And also I hate reading. I love like talking, and to be a lawyer, quite frankly, the amount of case law you have to read and studies, like none of that stuff is exciting to me, dude. Like I like reading the Wall Street Journal in the morning so that I can be prepared to talk about it when I make content. I don't like reading 50 years of constitutional law so that maybe one day if I'm in some court case, I can bring it up. And, you know, like that's not, and then like reading through contracts and drafting, that's got to be the most boring fucking shit in the world, dude. Like you cannot tell me getting paid $500,000 a year is worth spending 90 hours looking at Word documents all day, dude. You can't tell me that's an exciting job. The only exciting part about being a lawyer is if you do kind of like the civil stuff where you're like fighting for like human rights and stuff. That's where I think there's like a real interesting part to being a lawyer. Cause like, you know, like you're fighting for like a good cause, but then you're not making any money. So it's like, it's either you fight for a good cause and make no money, or you fight for a stupid cause, like some oil company, and you make a lot of money, but you kind of sell your soul to like read through documents all day. It's like, and file paperwork. That's not exciting, you know? I think I would love to go through Word docs for $500K. I mean, look, I think everyone thinks like it's exciting with the money, but first of all, half of that's going to Uncle Sam. You don't have your own business. It's not like you can write off things, right? You're still a salaried employee. And then after that, I don't know if you would really want to look at constitutional law for 90 hours a week, dude. That's not exciting to me. I love what I'm doing right now, dude. Making content. I love it. And again, I did the math. I mean, dude, 24,000 the first 2 months of the year. So that's basically 12 grand a month. I have never done 12 grand a month. I think the most I got to was 8 grand a couple of years ago a month, and just revenue for like me as a human being. But 12 grand is not bad. Now, a lot of that was through the 14,000 was through options, and that's probably not going to happen again. But I have some things planned throughout the rest of the year that I think can accelerate revenue. But if I can put up 10 grand a month as just me making content, which is what, like 120 a year, that's not the worst thing in the world, dude. And I get to make content. Like, I think that's reasonable. And I think that's every content creator's dream, because it's so hard to make money in this business. Like, you guys know, YouTube does not pay. I've been very honest about that. You barely make any money. So if you can make a little bit of money and as in do what you want to do, it's not the worst issue. It's not the worst thing in the world. Rango says, fighting for the good cause screwed me over. The good cause is all corrupted by the woke mind virus. Yeah, I mean, look, I say that in a vacuum. There's some things that are good cause. Like, for example, there are some people who have gone to jail for like, what? They had a little bit of weed on them, and now they're in jail for 30 years. Like, those people should not be in jail, right? So if you're a civil lawyer or some type of, you know, public defender that's fighting to get those people out of jail, that, like, I mean, when you got big corporations selling weed, and then you got someone who was smoking dope in 1995, and now they're in jail for 30 years. Like that's insane. Those are the people. By the way, if I ever get rich one day, I'm going to fund some nonprofits that can help those people get out of jail, because I think that's just the most. Time is the only thing we have, and if you go to jail for a mistake, which is not even a mistake anymore because it's fucking legal, like that's where I think people should be allocating their attention to when it comes to fighting good causes. But then there's a lot of other good causes that are supported by, like, the Bill Gates of the world that maybe aren't necessarily good causes. But those are different things that, I think people could be working for. So Amit, don't calculate based on 2 months of a bull market. Well, no, dude, I agree. Well, that's also why I sold, James. That 14 grand is profit. And the reason it's profit is because I don't think this fucking bull market is just going to last like all throughout the year. I think there's going to be peaks and valleys. And so if this is a peak, then, definitely need to recognize some profits right now. But yeah, in general, if I could do 10 grand a month in revenue as a human being, I think that would be really cool. And I get to do content. Like that to me is like, all right, so, we can figure out how to scale from there. But like, if we can achieve that milestone by the end of this year, I think that's pretty cool. But it's going to take some work to get there. It's going to take a lot of work to get there. Investing should be taught in prison. Oh, that's such a good idea, dude. That's such a good idea. Why? I mean, that'd be incredible. Nvidia might go red on the day. Nvidia's 786. So whoever bought at 820, you were a schmuck. I'm sorry. At least for today. Maybe tomorrow you won't be a schmuck, but for today, if you bought at 820, you're kind of a schmuck. Palantir below 23. Meta 486. Where's Robinhood? 1432, baby. Robinhood, something, the street figured out something, because everything's taking a little bit of a dip and Robinhood's up 3%. I don't know what the street figured out, but they're excited right now. They're excited and they're giving Robinhood the benefit of the doubt and they're buying up the fucking stock. Nvidia just turned red. There you go. Nvidia is red. Nvidia is red. What are your thoughts on Melly and Nubank commit? Seems like a long-term opportunity given the earnings. I have not deep dived the financials, but Nubank's growth is exceptional. Melly's growth is exceptional. Net income growth is phenomenal. I just don't know if the valuations make sense. And I have to actually look at a bunch of the PEs, PEG ratios, all that stuff. And I have to run some DCFs to kind of see if there's a reasonable multiple there. But the top line growth looks amazing. So, I mean, from a qualitative perspective, I don't think over the next decade you necessarily go wrong betting on Melly or Nubank, especially if you're trying to get exposure to Latin America. But I don't know if this is the best entry price. Melly's 79 billion. They were 91 billion yesterday, so they've come down. Nubank is 47 billion. They were 50 billion yesterday, 51 billion yesterday. Hood is up because of Square. I don't know, dude. I don't think if that was the case, why isn't Affirm and PayPal up? Affirm, yeah. Square is just, I mean, what is the relationship between Square and Hood outside of crypto, which isn't that new of a relationship? We've already known that. I think Hood's up is because Vlad tweeted that 24-hour trading is going off the charts. That thing he tweeted that at like 10 p.m. right before I slept last night, and I was like, oh boy, this is I definitely thought the market was going to like that, because when you say, hey, 24-hour trading volumes continue to go up, that just means more revenue. This means more people are trading. They make more money. The valuation doesn't make sense. On which one, Rango? On Nubank or on Melly? Which one? Hold one for the next 5 years amid a Hood or SoFi. Look, SoFi is probably a more intact business that is not cyclical, but I would pick Robinhood, dude. The problem with Robinhood, and this is me being objective here, is that if we get into a bear market, Robinhood collapses because they don't have the trading revenues to be able to keep up with their historical averages. Now, the only reason they're up right now is because interest rates are high and interest revenue is fantastic. Now, I know Robinhood is diversifying into a bunch of other businesses, but trading revenue is half of their revenue. So if we get into a bear market, SoFi will have concerns as well, but I don't know if SoFi's business will completely be gutted like Robinhood, because if interest rates are low and we're in a bear market, Robinhood's in a bad situation. If interest rates go high and we're in a bear market, Robinhood's in a good situation. If interest rates come down and the market goes up, Robinhood's in a phenomenal situation. So I would hold Robinhood over SoFi, but SoFi is less of a cyclical business than Robinhood. But for the next year, dude, I'd pick Robinhood. And it's kind of funny. I haven't said this publicly because I know the SoFi Weekly people would kill me. But do you guys remember SoFi Weekly? Do you remember in November when Robinhood was $7 and I think SoFi was the same, $7-6? And I said, hey guys, I like Robinhood and I like their UI and I think it's a moat. All of those guys killed me, dude. They were like, you're kidding. This is a fucking stupid brokerage app, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I don't think you guys get it. And maybe it's because they're from Canada. And the worst thing is Tanner and Tevis, when they met up with Riley said, hey, look at Robinhood on my phone. And they refused to look at his phone. They refused to look at it because they were so like bullish on SoFi. They were like, oh, Robinhood's just a little toy. It doesn't matter. Robinhood's at 14. SoFi's at 8 since November. And I don't know. It just, or since last year, since November 2022. Kind of feels like one of them is outperformed, and it's not SoFi. And it's because SoFi has a lot of risks associated with it. Robinhood has risks, but they have a lot more catalysts. So it's not that SoFi is going to be bad long-term. It's that the more obvious bet a year ago was Robinhood, just given the catalysts that were coming up. But none of the SoFi guys wanted to hear it, dude. They just loved the SoFi investing app way too much. And that app sucks objectively. That app is garbage. Like, it's so bad. We're going to load it up right now. Let's see how long it takes to load. All right. We're going to do this live. Maybe it's quick. Maybe it's not. Here we go. We're going to click it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at this. And it didn't even save my login. I logged in on this 2 days ago, guys, to check the ARK VC fund. So I'm not lying about that. I actually logged in to check the ARK venture capital fund. It didn't even save my login, dude. Like, that's kind of insane. That's not what users should be able to have access to. Okay, I logged in. Please verify the 6-digit code. Of course. They need, because it's not like I've logged in 17,000 times on this thing. Verify code. Let's check. Okay, oh my gosh. It's just not a great experience, dude. It's not a great experience. And then there you go. It's just, like, I don't know, dude. It's not the bet. Now, granted, I think SoFi will be fine, but I think Robinhood was just easier of a bet. It's products that people want to use. People want to fucking use this product. And there's a crypto angle to it. And they're growing their gold subscription users that are depositing. They put in $3.8 billion last month, dude, into the app. Like, at some point, you got to look at those deposits and be like, all right, people are coming back onto this app. Nvidia's down 7%. No, it's not. Is that a prediction? Nvidia's not down 7%. It's down 1%. All right, so Nvidia's down. We got Nvidia red. Look at that. The whole market went red. Palantir 2282. Palantir got hit. Rivian 1024. Melly's down 13%. Where's Carvana? Is Carvana still up? Carvana's still up 32%. Okay, so it's a Friday. We would expect the market to come down. SMCI, oh my God, it's down 15%. Oh my. Yeah, if Nvidia falls 1%, SMCI falls 15%. Dude, that's crazy. The market's taking a dip. S&P went from 510 to 507. Look at that. Robinhood's also falling now a little bit, 1420. ARK B 5084. Yeah, we're seeing a little bit. Look at Coinbase, 161, dude. Coinbase was at 193 last week. SQQQ is up. SQQQ is up. Yeah, people are taking the profits. I mean, this is reasonable. Probably we're going to. It's a Friday, but the next coming weeks are going to be the challenge of if this lasts or if this doesn't. Clip this and forward it to Noto. He did the interview yesterday with ARK, and I think there were some good clips going around with him talking about some stuff. But in general, I think I think Kathy likes it a lot more for a bunch of reasons, and I think they're going to be fine. I just think that Robinhood has a little bit more potential built into it. Daddy Noto will save the day. Yeah, the thing about Noto is he's not a loser, dude. If you watch that ARK interview he did, he's a winner. Like, you want to bet on a guy like that. And so people will buy his stock. People will give him the support he needs. I think he just needs a few quarters to really, prove that he can put it up. And they're got profitable. They're not super profitable, but they're profitable enough to get things moving. Friday after a 2% on an S&P and 3% on NASDAQ. Yeah, you're going to get a decline. No, that makes sense. Friday after a 2% and 3% gain on S&P and NASDAQ. I think pretty much you have to be really interesting to buy Nvidia at 825 or 820 to think this was running to 900. And I know it's okay to say that in hindsight, but I mean, the S&P was up 2%, NASDAQ was up 3%, Nvidia was up 18%. Like, at what point, were you like, all right, maybe I shouldn't chase this thing? But there were people chasing it at 800, dude. If the stock got up to 820, people were buying it at that price before it collapsed, which is just insane. It was just insane. Q&A for 10 minutes and we hear it half an hour later. We're still here. I need to get better at just closing shop. It's because I fucking love this shit, dude. I genuinely love this shit. Dude, the first 2 months I would say on YouTube for 2024 have been a success. We have streamed God knows how many hours a day. We do at least 3 hours a day, right? 1.5 in the morning, 1.5 in the afternoon. So times what? Basically 60 days, 50 days, including weekends we did. That's like, we're getting up there to like a couple hundred hours. Plus all these earnings calls. Like, it's been fun. Now I know what earnings seasons is as a full-time YouTuber because now in May I'll be prepared. I wasn't prepared for like streaming every single day for 5 hours a day, listening to 17 calls and getting all the numbers. Like, I didn't know it would be this intense, but it was pretty intense. So next time in May, I'll be much more prepared to like be accurate and handle and like do a better job at just dealing with all that stuff, because there's a lot of moving parts to making sure that shit goes correctly. You never work a day in your life admit when you love what you're doing. Yeah, that's true, dude. My mom was saying that the other day. She's like, I barely see you. I'm like, I'm just working, and I love doing it. I love doing it. It's a pretty cool thing to do. Okay, I think that's it. I think we're done. We got a pod with TJ at 2 p.m. So in a couple hours, you guys will see me again. We'll talk about options. And then 3:45, we will do market close. Yo, you guys are still talking about Courtney, dude. You guys are hilarious. The DM I got this morning, I'm still not going to tell you who it is, but we're going to have a fun, if this happens in March, this is going to be a fun thing in March, dude. This is going to be super fun. For those that weren't here in the beginning, I was saying something about NVIDIA, and then I started stuttering because on my iPad, I got the DM. And it's going to be so cool, dude. This is going to be really fun. It's not Palantir. It's not Carp or anything. Even though that should happen one day, hopefully that happens. This is going to be cool. You guys are going to enjoy it. I think you guys will enjoy it. NVIDIA back to 780. Yeah, there you go. NVIDIA back to 780. Palantir 2283. Lunar's up 35%. Bitcoin 50,811. SPY 507. Robinhood 1423. Then Palantir 2287, down 3% on the day. All right, I think that's it. I think it's time to go. Make sure you guys have a good weekend. Give us a hint. It's an interview with somebody. That's all I can say. It's an interview with somebody that wants to do an interview with me. It's very interesting that they're reaching out to do the interview, but it seems like we're going to do the interview. And it's going to be a pretty cool interview. You guys will see. I can't say who, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. All right, guys, this was great. I'll see you guys at 2 p.m. We're going to be talking about options with TJ. He's managing a $4 million portfolio. He's going to show us a bunch of different things he's been doing. And then 3:45, we'll do market close. All right. Thank you, everybody. If I don't see you, have a great weekend. Enjoy your life. Go west, young man. Experience some stuff. Eat some good food this weekend, end of February. And also Palantir Weekly tonight if you guys want to show up to that. It's not Biden and it's not Gunjan. This person is more exciting than Gunjan or Biden or anyone you could really think of, quite frankly. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. All right, everybody. Thank you. I'll see you guys in like 2 hours. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.